जैसा कि भारतीय संस्कृति में नया कार्य बिना दीप प्रज्वलन के नहीं शुरू होता, हम दीप ज्योति को नमस्कार कर अंधकार जो हमारा अज्ञान का अंधेरा है उसको हटा के ज्ञान के प्रकाश से प्रकाशमान करते हैं। तो मैं सभी डिग्निटरी से अनुरोध करूंगी कि कृपया दीप प्रज्वलन के लिए आइए।
राम राठा साहब, संजय कुलकर्णी जी, डॉक्टर भूतमांगे साहब, डॉक्टर सतीश दत्ता, मैथ्यू साहब, सिन्हा साहब,
सुगंधा मैम,
साहब, सार्थक बटल साहब, प्लीज आइए। हाँ भाई, अमर भाई, सुनील मंगला जी, प्लीज।
मैं मिस्टर संजय सिन्हा सर से अनुरोध करूंगी डॉक्टर सतीश जगताप आज के एमिनेंट स्पीकर का पुष्पगुच्छ और फूल का स्वागत। मैं मिस्टर अनिरुद्ध सर से अनुरोध करूंगी। मिस्टर मैथ्यू जैकब सर। For a very dedicated material firm name is Myrin Engineer Shri Kapil Sahu. Today is my host, co-host also to take this program further. Thank you, sir. Please come.
मैडम तो इम्पोर्टेंट फेलिसिटेशन
मैं करूँगी।
आप
That's right. To announce and
आज हमारे बीच में डॉक्टर अनवर दाऊद हैं, तो अभी VIA के वाइस प्रेसिडेंट बने हैं। एग्रो फोरम के तरफ से हम उनको फेलिसिटेट करना चाहेंगे फॉर हिज आउटस्टैंडिंग कंट्रीब्यूशन इन फार्मा सेक्टर। दोस्तों आज के स्पॉन्सर्स हैं मैग्नेशिया केमिकल्स एंड अरिस्टा केमिकल्स। उनके चेयरमैन कर्नल विनोद मरवर साहब जो आने वाले थे, कुछ कारणवश आ नहीं पाए। would like to felicitate him and request Mr. Matthew Jacob to please receive the memento on behalf of him.
request Kapil Sahu sir, so please give a hand.
It's my honor. Honor काम करने का तजुर्बा में at the age of close to about 80, he started a food processing industry. This forum would like to felicitate Mr. Kamal Narayan Sikha, please. Sir, please come. And I request Mr. Please honor him. सर दो शब्द आपसे जाइए सर प्लीज।
गुड मॉर्निंग ऑल ऑफ यू। मुझे थोड़े ही शब्द बोलना है। तो पहले तो मैं कहना चाहूंगा कि मैं इस अवार्ड को वैसे डिजर्व नहीं करता, लेकिन चूंकि मिस्टर कबीर साहू इस प्रोजेक्ट के कंसल्टेंट थे और उनके मार्गदर्शन में इक्विपमेंट लेआउट वगैरह हुआ। मेरा कोई फूड इंडस्ट्री का बैकग्राउंड नहीं था। बेसिकली सिंथेटिक फाइबर इंडस्ट्री एंड पेट्रोकेमिकल्स का ही मेरा थ्रूआउट एक्सपीरियंस रहा है, परंतु चूंकि एक थोड़ा सा मन में इच्छा थी कि ऐसे प्रोडक्ट बनाए जाए जो कि शायद देश में पहली बार लॉन्ग शेल्फ लाइफ के रेडी टू कुक प्रोडक्ट बन सके, तो हमने बिना किसी आउटसाइड हेल्प के, बिना आउटसाइड कंसल्टेंट के एक छोटी सी यूनिट मेरे ही फार्म हाउस में जो नागपुर से लगा हुआ है हमने चालू किया और ईश्वरीय दया से उसमें प्रोडक्ट बनाने में सफलता मिली। लेकिन मेरी इस फोरम के थ्रू यहाँ ऐसे दिग्गज बैठे हुए हैं, एक ही रिक्वेस्ट है कबीर जी कि जो नई यूनिट चालू होती है चाहे किसी भी सेगमेंट में, स्पेशली जो सनराइज इंडस्ट्री फूड इंडस्ट्री है, इसमें मार्केटिंग के लिए कोई प्लेटफॉर्म बनना चाहिए और उसमें सभी लोग, क्योंकि देखिए यहाँ मैंने देखा है कि बहुत इंडिविजुअल्स अपने घरों में बहुत है देशी, कोई लड्डू बनाता है, कोई नमकीन बनाता है, कोई अचार है, लेकिन उनको मार्केटिंग की बहुत बड़ी प्रॉब्लम उनको है। तो ये फोरम जहाँ टेक्निकल लोग हैं तो तमाम सबको ऐसी
सर थैंक यू वेरी मच। आपने सनराइज इंडस्ट्री की बात की, तो सर नागपुर में भी कुछ ऐसे नौजवान हैं जो डिफरेंटली सोच रहे हैं और बहुत इनोवेटिव वे में काम कर रहे हैं। दिस प्रोग्राम टुडे वुड लाइक टू फेलिसिटेट मिस्टर सागर साहब ऑफ सार्थक टेक्नोलॉजीज। रिक्वेस्ट सागर साहब टू प्लीज कम on the front. I request Sagar sir to please felicitate him. सागर सर के पापा और बड़े भैया के साथ रिक्वेस्ट करूंगा आप सागर के साथ खड़े हो जाएंगे। सागर डोंट आफ्टर
एंजाइम्स के बारे में।
Good morning, everyone. Firstly, thank you for having me here. I'm delighted to be a part of this seminar. बहुत ही experienced लोगों के बीच में मुझे आने मिल रहा है. I'm delighted. I'm grateful. हमारा काम basically ferroalloys का है. Our plant is in Bhilai, Chhattisgarh. We are supplying to the steel industry across the globe. Being the second generation, I'm very optimistic on India's economy. I'm very optimistic on it. Consumer market के ऊपर मैंने बहुत study की थी और मैं चाहता था कि मैं उसमें कुछ जुड़ूं, उसमें कुछ काम करूं. उसमें स्टडी कर करके मैं एक प्रोजेक्ट के ऊपर आया घूम के, जो है बायो एंजाइम्स ने मुझे बहुत ही ज्यादा अट्रैक्ट किया, बहुत इंटरेस्टिंग प्रोजेक्ट लगा मुझे, बिकॉज इट इज हाईली टेक्निकल, इट हैज डाइवर्सिफाइड एप्लीकेशंस, एंड सिंस इट इज प्रोड्यूस्ड थ्रू बायोटेक्नोलॉजी, उसका कोई भी हार्मफुल इफेक्ट्स नहीं है एनवायरनमेंट में. सो आई सी अ वेरी ब्राइट फ्यूचर फॉर द प्रोजेक्ट. आप सबका मुझे सपोर्ट लगेगा वो प्रोजेक्ट को सक्सेसफुल करने में. कपिल सर के मार्गदर्शन में चल रहा हूँ आगे. सो बायो एंजाइम्स का एक छोटा सा मैं ब्रीफ देना चाहूंगा. दीज आर बायो कैटलिस्ट्स जो कोई भी केमिकल रिएक्शन को फास्टर करने में हेल्प करते हैं. एंड हर प्रोडक्शन में जहां पे बायो एंजाइम्स यूज होते हैं, इनका सिर्फ एक ही पर्पस होता है कि उस प्रोडक्शन प्रोसेस को ऑप्टिमाइज करना. So I'm very grateful to be a part of this seminar today. Thank you very much.
Engineer by qualification, you have progress on bioengineering is really remarkable. Thank you very much. Coming back to the program today, सदियों से रोटी, कपड़ा और मकान जिंदगी की प्रायोरिटीज में आती है, एसेंशियल्स में आते हैं. रोटी in current scenario is food. It could be processed food, it could be primary food. Primary food is basically our fruits and vegetables. Secondary processing food is basically all post-harvest, products like roti, chawal and all that. Tertiary food is basically all the processed foods, including fermented foods, and formulated foods. Looking at today's lifestyle, everybody wants to consume food with a longer shelf life or longer expiry date. Here comes the importance of the food preservatives. While preservatives are being used extensively in food industry, pharma industry, cosmetic industry. These are regulated by FDA. बहुत कुछ बोल नहीं पाऊंगा, उन्हीं से सीखा हूँ, उन्हीं के साथ काम करने का बहुत सौभाग्य मिला है. But today, we as a general consumer, as professionals, do we know how much, what, where, and how these preservatives should be used? उसी के लिए आज का सेमिनार ऑर्गेनाइज किया गया है. We are today to be with Mr. Ladha sir, our chief guest. अनवर भाई, जिनको हम प्यार से अनवर भाई बोलते हैं, जिम लैबोरेटरीज के मैनेजिंग डायरेक्टर एंड करंट वाइस प्रेसिडेंट ऑफ VIA. We have Dr. Magnesia as the eminent subject expert speaker, and this program today, as you know, is sponsored by Magnesia Chemicals and Arista Chemicals. मेरे दो दोस्त हैं, मिलिंद सुमत एंड वो अनफॉर्चुनेटली आज नहीं आ पाए, एंड संजय कुलकर्णी, जिसको प्यार से हम संजू बोलते हैं. संजू खड़े रिमार्केबल जर्नी एट द एज ऑफ 50. जब हम सब लोग सोच रहे थे कहीं मकान बना के आराम करने के लिए, उसने इंडस्ट्री चालू किया. हैट्स ऑफ टू यू संजू. ये टाइम लोग सोचते हैं बांध के कहीं आराम करें, आपने ये इंडस्ट्री चालू किया, उसके लिए बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद. We have Sanjay Kulkarni, managing director of Magnesia. We have Arista Chemicals, Dr. Satish Datta, and Mr. Madhu Jacob with us as the eminent speakers. And we are fortunate today that the crowd here is basically a selected mix. We have food processing industry professionals, we have budding entrepreneurs, we have people with a lot of diverse interest in food processing. Sir, we have some pharma research students available with us, food research students available with us. We have today some MTech and PhD students from LIT. Department of Pharmacy, LAD, Tuli College, and Tirupati College. Okay. And after the program, Mr. Ladhasa was invited all of us to visit Amul factory. We should thank him for this. And sir, we are going to come and have after that, request Sachiva.
Now I Rina to introduce both members. Particular subject, that is Dr. Both Market. Dr. Both Market was a Lakshmi Narayan, Dr. Madhukar Bhoth Mange of
Sir, आप प्लीज दोस्तों को बोलिए.
I'm so sorry. I apologize for this. It came back last morning from school abroad, and there is some inspection going on in my factory. I would love to be here after being introduced to the eminent dignitaries and experts in the space, because it's very near to my heart as well. So I'm very sure a lot of young people here, including the young entrepreneur who was speaking about bioenzymes. So great. Normally, because people more about preservation of food in fact, all of you know more about it than me. I'll just say 2 or 3 things maybe which are important. We had, pharmacy was a kind of a stepchild of LIT for a long time. And we have some very eminent PhD thesis on preservation using polymers, dipping in polymers. So that was with methacrylic acid polymers. So I feel that that's one of the things where it's very important because there are a lot of perishable crops and perishable foods grown in Nagpur, like oranges and other. So there was Vijay Mathur. And he had done some excellent work in LIT, but his PhD was in pharmaceutics. So that's one of the things that came to my mind that maybe there is some overlap and that's there. Regarding this entrepreneurship, my factory is actually in Kalpeshwar and behind it there is an orange orchard. So I always think, what we can do sitting there. And I was born in Katol, so that's why I came back. I don't think that not people about taking to entrepreneurship. And in this umbrella, under the umbrella of VIA, that was after 60, like Kabir was saying, when we think of holding up our own thing, that when I started coming and looking at this the situation that we have, and I always think, because of the pharmaceutical industry and the way IT and pharma have helped the world, where because of the pharmaceutical advances made in the last 200 years, pharmaceutical industry is not more than 250 years old, just that much. Before that, it was Hakim and physician dispensing every medicine. So, when the pharmaceutical industry started, the average age of people was 47 years. Now it's 78. Because of the knowledge base, the contribution of healthcare professionals all over the world. And they say now, because of the advent of so many things like artificial intelligence, social media, so many, there's such a good knowledge base that the distance between Nagpur and Mumbai and New York and all those things that we suffered from because of the lack of interaction with like-minded people, the lack of resources available to us, that's shortened considerably. And there is even one theory that the person who is going to live for 130 years is already born. That's how much the research on longevity has advanced. The research on cancer, on longevity, on living longer, on organ regeneration. Why I'm saying all this is there is a relationship. The relationship is if we are all going to live longer and we see, and you will all agree with me that our parents are about 60 years old, they really look old. Now we are all, we are not going old, really. We are, we feel old, but we are not going old. We are functional. For a long time, we are functional. We are functional in 75 years. We are functional in 80 years. So young. Boys were so young. So I think all the young ladies and gentlemen here, what they should think of is that they have 10 more years of very active life in front of them. Then we are at least you have 10 more years to live very well, very actively, using your capabilities to help the nation, help yourself, help your region grow, and create wealth for the country, for yourself. If you have 10 more years, I always think, at least for Vidarbha, you should take out 5 of those years to make mistakes. Do entrepreneurship. Don't take all this knowledge base with you and just go and think that you will do it alone or do some small thing. Look at it as because money is now available. Money. There was one time when people with good ideas used to chase money. People like me used to go to MSFC and beg them and go to banks. Now, if you have a good idea, you can come here. We are in VIA. You young guys, you don't need to be. I mean, you have a background, but people who don't have any background like me. Today, you can have a good idea and money will chase you. and you can make some mistakes. In fact, you should make a lot of mistakes. Today in my industry, when we interview people, we always try to ask them and find out whether they have made some mistakes and failed. Because the biggest quality of the world that is coming in the future is not knowledge or expertise or IQ. You know, these are all, you can get those. People can teach you all those things. But the great quality that, or even, industriousness or discipline, somebody will tell you that I do it by discipline. Doesn't matter really what kind of discipline you have, what you have. Really, you should be resilient because things are changing so much that all of you, including me, all of us are going to fail or 2 or 3 times in our life because we are going to live longer in more competition. So the resilience is what we should teach our young people and we should learn ourselves. And the best time to be resilient is when you can take the shocks. Right after you pass out, I wish that all of you will be resilient, will make mistakes and will fail once or twice. And maybe who knows? Some of you will have some good ideas that you will be successful without failing. Hats off to you. And with these short things which are not related to preservation of food, I take your leave and thank you very much for bringing me here.
Thank you very much, sir. Actually, VIA का प्लेटफॉर्म ही ऐसा है, यहाँ जो भी आता है इंटरनेशनल में चेंज हो ही जाता है. मैं भी उसका एक उदाहरण हूँ. तो now I
Good morning, everyone. At the beginning, I must thank VIA for inviting me for this important topic on food preservation. Respected personalities on the dais, Sanjay Kulkarni, Dr. Datta, Mr. Jacob, the conveners of this seminar, and in presence of the stalwart from LIT, Mr. Kamala and Sitha, my colleague, Dr. Garve, and Sunil Mudara, and friends. Organizer asked me to speak about the food preservatives. Food preservative is part of the processing. When we talk about the preservatives, why do we think of the preservatives? We think about the preservative when we process them. So the question comes in mind, why we need a process? What are the basic parameters? What are the needs to see or to do the processing of the foods? The first important one is the tropical nature of the agricultural produce. We have lots of food ingredients or raw materials, and of that, besides cereals and legumes, other food ingredients or food raw materials are perishables. To some extent, it's a highly perishable, some extent less perishable. But these are the perishables. And that's why we want to make available these foods or raw material, agro materials, to be made available throughout the year. And that is the need of primary need of the process. How can we make these raw materials, agri materials, to be made available throughout the year. And this is the first one. Second one is, when we talk about the perishables, mainly the fruits and vegetables, we come across lots of losses, right from harvesting to the consumption. So how to reduce the losses, whether to be processed at the farm level or whether to be processed at the installed capacity processing units. So that is another one. After taking these 3 points, the next point comes in mind is the value addition. If you make it suffice to all these preliminary 3 points, then we think about the value addition. Value addition means whatever the raw materials we have, whatever the agri materials we have, how can you make it or add the value to that raw materials? In that also we need a process. And then nutritional aspects. Can we improve the nutritional value of available raw materials or available food we can prepare? So these are the 5 major requirements or needs where we need to process the food. And therefore, this when we talk about the food processing involves the collection of the raw material, food materials. To these material, we need a treatment. So, and the pattern of consumption. So we need to prepare the food, making it palatable requires a treatment. And in this process, the report says around 30% of the agricultural produce go waste. In India, the position is this scenario is very grim. We are able to process only 10% of the food we produce. So, as the Sitaji said, that it's a sunrise industry. So this is there are lots of opportunities to make the process the food, and as we see in our nearby places, all majority of the growth deals and everything has come up. The requirement there, the demand is there, and we have to streamline, and that's why Sitaji demanded the VIA that please institute the platform for marketing of all these food products that are being processed or prepared. When we talk about the processing, we always talk about the pros and cons. What will be the beneficial effects? What are the negative effects of it? The beneficial effects, positive effects. One is preservation. So by preserving the food, we can make it food available for the year. We can make the food, alter the food to the tongue appeal of the consumers, what the consumers need. what should be the taste of the food, and to achieve that consumer appeal or consumer acceptance, we have to process, and that's another effect, a positive effect we can say. Some of the food materials are less digestible. You have to make it digestible. हम लोग बार सुनते हैं घर में भी, बीमार पड़ने के बाद में हल्का खाओ, लाइट फूड खाना, तो डॉक्टर भी बताता है. So that the aim of that advice is pointed towards the digestibility, which is easily digestible, which are less digestible and mildly digestible. So digestibility is another fact that we have to improve the digestibility, because whatever the enzymes we have in our digestive system, we have to see the capacity or efficiency of that enzymes in the system, and accordingly we have to alter the food so that the food consumed will be digested very easily. And then of course the positive effect of the processing is the value addition. We can add the value in terms of shelf life, in terms of money. So value addition is the one. And then the important factor comes in, that is the safety. As you everybody know about the government of India has instituted previously it was prevention of food adulteration. Now the Food Safety and Standards Authority of India, and each processed food should have registered with the FSSAI authority, and we find that this number is always on the packaged food, whether it's a drinking water or any commodity which is termed as the food. So FSSAI comes into the picture about the safety, and Government of India or the FSSAI authority has made some standards for safety of the food. So safety is another positive effect. And then of course the marketing and economics of the processing of the food. It should be marketable as well as economically marketable, I would say, so that the processors will have good amount of the profit. So all these the positive effects are there, the negative effects. Because even now, I listen in many of the points that अरे ये काय के लिए प्रोसेस करते हो यार, काय के लिए ये सब पैकेज फूड्स ले रहे हो, ये तो खाए हेल्थ के लिए अच्छा नहीं है. So they comment, this type of the comments we receive towards the loss of nutrients. These comments are due to the loss of nutrients, because during processing, some of the sensitive nutrients gets lost, and that's why these comments we receive. But of course, the technology has improved a lot. We can reduce this nutrient losses, and also we can, if it is lost, we can reinforce it, fortify it by addition of some of the substances, ingredients, chemicals, so that can be fortified. But this is, our old people always say that we should not consume the processed food, we should consume the natural food, so that we get the food which is fulfilled completely with in regards to the nutrients. So this is one of the negative points people think of. Second one, due to addition of chemicals, maybe a natural chemicals, maybe a artificial or a synthetic chemicals, we take help of these chemicals to process them. And that's why people may think of about the hazards of these chemicals to be added in the process. So this is, and third one is the energy requirement that the processing parameters, the cost involved in the processing. So these are some of the negative effects of the processing. But overall, if we think about the positive as well as negative effects, we find we need to go towards the positive effects. Otherwise, we will lose the food. The losses will be more. So to avoid the losses, to make the food available throughout the year, to make available throughout the population, we want the food to be processed. So the chemicals of the substances that are being added in the food processing, the list is very long. Like antioxidants, chelating agents, coloring, flavoring agents, flavor improvers, emulsifiers, anti-caking agents, then agents, nutrient supplements, sweeteners. The substances or the chemicals that are being added so very long. And why do we call it as additives? These are all listed as additives. Why? The substances are the chemicals which are being added to the food will not impart its own taste, flavor, color to the food. And that's why that we call it as the additive. That means they are the supplements. They are not the major ingredients, and that's why they should not impart their color, flavor, taste, anything. Or they should, in other words, we can say that they should not show their own identity in the process. That we call it as additive. And the ingredients or the raw materials which are being shown by the processed food, or they show their identity in the processed food, that we call it as major ingredients. And that's why you will find on any of the processed food packages, the listing is always started with higher quantity to the lower quantity. In the decreased quantitative manner, it is given that the major ingredient, what is the major ingredient, and these major ingredients may be initial 1, 2, 3. They show their presence in the process. Later one will not show, but whatever the role they have been given, these substances play their role. For example, the antioxidants, we add these antioxidants to the lipid material, oils and fats to a very lesser extent. They will protect the oxidation of the oils and fats even after processing. So food additives should do their role, they should act even after process. Then and then only that will be useful to the food process. So these are the long list. The whole Kapil has given me talk about the preservatives. So I will not go into the details of each and every food additives at this point. The process foods, you can arrange it, the preserved foods, then convenience foods, strategic foods, so very categorized. So different categories are there. Nowadays, this is the era of the convenience food. The Sita has entered into the convenience food, ready to cook, ready to eat. So now everybody, even now this water is also, I can term it as a convenience. Otherwise, you could have gone to the well and stored water in the earthen pot or a steel pot, and then you have to carry it. Now this bottle comes in a very precise size, so that you can carry it everywhere. So this is a convenience. So this kind of, now this is the era of the convenience. The new generation, especially, is most relying on the convenience foods. Just like now everybody is done. So Zomato, Swiggy, just like they don't want to process even in the kitchen itself. So it's a convenience. So this kind of thing, now this processing, convenience food has gained a very much importance in our day-to-day life. But apart from the convenience foods, other foods are there. These foods may be directly consumed, or these foods may become a raw material or an ingredient to the other process. And that's why we should not neglect the other foods. But now the new era, for example, even what the enzymes is going to produce. Enzymes also plays a very important role in the convenience. So this now, as the Kapil says about processing levels, we generally categorize the 3 levels of the processing: primary levels, secondary levels, tertiary levels. Primary levels, we harvest the agricultural produce, sun-dry it prior to storage. That is the primary level, I would say. Secondary level, the partially alteration, that is can be considered to be a secondary level, and then finally the tertiary level, the very fine stage of consumption, that will be the tertiary level. Now, when talk about the food preservations, there are different principles or techniques. Physical techniques, maybe sorting, grading, grinding. These are the techniques there. As regards to the food products, the first principle is the temperature-based treatment. Low temperature treatment, freeze drying. Usually we keep the food material in our kitchen to last longer in the refrigerator. So low temperature preservation is there. Thermal processing, canning industries. Or the food can be preserved by the help of higher temperatures. Maybe near boiling temperature or a higher boiling temperature. So thermal processing is there. Then evaporation, dehydration. There is another technique. Irradiation is the one, though in our country this is not much popular. The reservations are there about these irradiated products. Still, we have not come out with the complete solution to or complete acceptance to the irradiated products. Some of the products our government has allowed to re-irradiate the irradiation there and the chemical preservatives. The chemical preservatives that being used and then fermentation. So these food preservation techniques are not sufficient alone to extend the shelf life. I will give you the simple example. लड्डा साहब का इंडस्ट्री है Amul milk. He processed the milk and he supplied the milk to the consumers at the low temperature. Pasteurize करके आपको देते हैं. वो उनके लेवल तक ही आप वो जो मिल्क पैकेट है वो आप ठीक से स्टोर नहीं कर पाए, तो that preservative technique will not be useful at your kitchen. So what we do, you always take out the milk from the packet and then boil it. So another thermal processing is there. Of course, boiling करने की जरूरत नहीं होती है, तो पाश्चराइज करने की जरूरत होती है. We go for boiling, and in that process, we lose the nutrients. Pasteurization is sufficient. Pasteurize it and then again you can keep it in your refrigerator.
But it spoils.
No,
एक पाश्चराइज करके 60-65 टेम्परेचर तक ताकि छोड़ा तो वो उसकी शेल्फ लाइफ ज्यादा नहीं रहेगी, वो जल्दी खराब हो जाएगी.
वैसे के 2 दिन कंज्यूम करने के लिए बोला है. सब आप देखोगे तो पैकेट पे स्टैम्प मारा हुआ रहता है. It is best before 2 days, whatever the processing date is there. So this way, we should learn the package instructions. That will be helpful. So my point was that alone any technique is not sufficient. We have to club it one or the other together. So chemical preservative, this is also not a sufficient one alone, but we have to make use of all this. For example, the cans आप open करोगे तो उसको वो spoil हो जाएगा. And that's why majority of the packets is instructed that once used, consume it. You cannot keep it. So क्योंकि उसका ये वहां तक ही खत्म हो जाता है. आपने पैकेट खोल दिया कि फिर आपको आपका दूसरा अल्टरनेटिव जो भी प्रिंसिपल है प्रिजर्वेशन का उसे अप्लाई करनी. So this is the one. Now when we talk about the preservatives are always classified in 2 categories, class 1 preservatives and class 2 preservatives. So what are the class 1 preservatives? The class 1 preservatives are those preservatives are those chemicals which do not have any restriction in use. The restriction, this is the very straightforward definition that these are the chemicals or substances which do not have any restriction in its content. And 1% use करो, 2% करो, 10% करो, जो भी था. There is no restriction about content. But restriction कहाँ आती है? आपका tongue जहाँ तक accept करता है. These are the natural preservatives or the class 1 preservatives, just like sugar, salt. आपकी tongue जहाँ तक permit करेगी तभी वही उसी level तक आप sugar या salt का use करोगे. Though they are the permitted or the class 1 considered to be a class 1 preservatives. Class 2 preservatives, there is a restriction. Restriction is given that you cannot add more than that specified limit. These are the class 2 preservatives. preservatives. And these plastic preservatives we more widely use in the processing with their specified limits. So one of the most important is the sulfur dioxide, SO2. In short, our technologists always call it as a KMS, potassium metabisulfite. So this SO2 is effective against yeast and moths. So before going to this, I would just make one line that all these preservatives, all these preservative techniques, we need just to counteract the microorganisms. And so to microorganisms, we broadly classify into 4 categories: bacteria, mold, yeast, fungi. So the kind of the organisms that grow in that particular food product or food, we use these chemical preservatives. So this sulfur dioxide is effective in the yeast and moths, especially in the acidic food, having a pH less than 4.5. It is also effective in the bacteria where the pH is beyond 4.5. So we have to decide that in that particular food product whether the SO2 will be effective or not. Whether it's an acidic food, whether it's your alkaline food, and accordingly, you have to see there will be some again another parameter, the water activity parameter will be there. That is also being considered for using this sulfur dioxide or any chemical preservative. So this SO2, potassium metabisulfite, is broadly used in fruits and vegetable products. These are also considered to be sometimes as a bleaching agent. SO2 is also, as sulfur is also termed to be a bleaching agent, and so it also prevents browning in the fruits, especially cut fruits or dried fruits, and it also prevents the enzymatic brown. Another one is the sorbic acid. This is straight monocarboxylic acid. This is also effective in the yeast and moths. And the sorbic acid as a preservative is mainly used in the cheese, baked products, pickles, some of the specialized wines, juices, sorbic acid is used. The acetic acid in household we call it as a vinegar, diluted acetic acid, that is the vinegar. This acetic acid is used as a preservative, or it preserves the pickled vegetables. In the pickling of the vegetables, we use this acetic acid. The sodium, potassium, or calcium salt, or the acetic acid, that is the sodium acetate, calcium acetate, potassium acetate, are used in the bakery products to prevent smokiness, and it is effective against the molds. The acetic acid is also used to improve flavor. in especially in the pickles. We add vinegar to get good flavor. So the flavor improver is also there, and it has a antimicrobial activities as in the acidic conditions. If the pH lowers, it is good preservative. The another one is the propionic acid. Sodium and calcium salt of the propionic acid is mainly used in the bakery products, maybe biscuits and all this. So this is effective against the molds and some of the bacteria. The calcium propionate is mostly used in the bakeries, biscuit manufacturers, crackers manufacturers. That this is used, improve the textures, improve the shelf life, and avoids the ropiness. The ropiness usually comes with these bacteria like Bacillus mesenteroides. So that is this bacillus, it gets inactivated by propionic acid or calcium propionate. The benzoic acid, the most accepted form of the benzoic acid is sodium benzoate that we use in majority of the vegetable products, especially the sauces, having the pH between 3 to 4.5. The pH, that pH is the sodium is most widely used, and it is soluble as compared to the benzoic acid, free benzoic acid. This benzoic acid, because this, we add the sodium benzoate in the acidic condition, and the benzoic acid is released, and benzoic acid itself acts as a preservative, which has an antimicrobial activity. It is effective in against yeast and bacteria, and so it is mostly used in acidic foods like fruit juices, pickles. Of course, carbonated beverages, benzoic acid is the additional preservative. Carbonated beverages, the carbon dioxide itself work as a preservative. So benzoic acid is the additional preservative to that. Then another one is the nitrates and nitrites. These are especially this preservative is especially for the non-veg products. For meat products, the nitrites and nitrates are used. The sodium nitrite is used as preservative, which also stabilizes the red color of the meat. So this nitrite converts to nitric oxide, which combines with the myoglobin, forming nitrosyl myoglobin, which is the heat-stable compound, heat-stable pigment, red-colored pigment. And this nitrates are active against Clostridia, streptococci. But the addition of this nitrites or nitrates to meat products should be under the controlled conditions. Otherwise, if it is in higher quantity, it forms the nitrosamines and is considered to be a carcinogenic agent. So, of course, the extent of using nitrites in the meat products also has given certain limits. So one should not go beyond limits. So all these preservatives are being used in the food products to extend the shelf life, but with specified limit. One should not go beyond limit. I'll give you one example of the preservative, just like I told you about the SO2, sulfur dioxide, as one of the preservatives. We use this preservative very widely to preserve the squashes. And we should consume the squashes while diluting. While consuming, we have to dilute it 1+3. Then we should use and limit to the SO2 or the potassium metabisulfite is maximum 350 ppm parts per million. So, and dilution is necessary 1+3. That means 1 part plus 3 parts water. So what happens? This 350 ppm, which was present in the squash, will get diluted to the level of 70 ppm. The SO2, highest SO2 should be in any ready to drink or ready to consume product should not go beyond 70 ppm. If it goes, your throat soreness starts. Same is the limit with your jaggery. Nowadays, the jaggery coming up with the addition of the potassium metabisulfite. Bright colored jaggery you get. That is, this SO2 is added to that. It acts as a bleaching agent, so you get a bright colored jaggery. I was a member of this jaggery dispute came up from Kolhapur, and at the time I was nominated by the Maharashtra Legislative Assembly on that committee. And we analyzed their jaggery products. That was the SO2 content was more than 70 ppm that time. And the traders protested that our report, and they said, no, business आप बंद करना चाहते हो, सब ये कुछ नहीं. The reason is, if that jaggery consumer, his throat will sore. आपको खराश चालू हो जाएगी, गले में खराश हो जाती है. So that is the extreme limit. Upper limit is given. So you should use all these preservatives below the specified limit. Then it is okay. Otherwise, they are going to harm the persons. Okay. Thank you for that.
Sir, I have one question.
Okay.
Say, whatever limits of these preservatives is given on the packet, being a customer, how can I know that the limit, the product is under the limit of the chemical? Because that is the biggest question before any customer, any consumer, and we don't have the technology to judge it at our level. Because there was a one dispute in, I know the name of the company, but I would not take the name. They have they have put it around 200 ppm in their product, in their pickle product, and there are thousands of liters of batch were consumed by the people. What can we do being a customer? Is there any technology? Is there any simple equipment which customer can check that whether this product contains the permitted limit of the preservative? That is my question, and you should, the person like you should announce in the newspaper that yes, this is the technology which customer can use. That is the problem, not before me, it's for every Indian. Because those companies are multinational companies, you cannot fight with them. Even you cannot fight with them. What we can do? I have seen the processing unit Why don't you declare in the newspaper that the customer should go and visit their factory? No manufacturer will allow you to visit their factory because they are using substandard product. I have seen with my eyes. The government companies, the multinational companies, the big processors, how they are using the food, the vegetables, and how many percentage of chemicals they are adding, no one knows. You do something for that. That is my honest request to you.
See, the answer to your question is, I cannot give the answer to your question
I know
as
that.
an individual. As an individual, I cannot give the answer to you. But there is a machinery to inspect. That is the FDA. Food and Drugs Department is there. Of which the FSSAI is there. So, and it's a company's responsibility, the product manufacturer's responsibility that he should use these chemicals or preservatives within that limit which is prescribed by the FSSAI.
Yeah.
And to monitor this one, the department is there. You can complain to the department and department will visit the site and see the product, sees the product and will evaluate, and whether it is the complaint is found to be a logical one, they will go into the court of law.
But how can I say, I am a simple man, I am a layman, and I don't know.
I'm not completed man. That is the one, that's a legal departments are there to check these products. Another one is your tongue is the most important, what we said, instrument.
Instrument for testing. Yeah.
So that will tell you whether this product is within the limit or not of this thing.
Many ready to.
Your tongue will not accept the product immediately. What I said that you're the class 1 preservative, I said that there is no limit. There is no limit is prescribed for the class 1 preservative, but the limit is given by your tongue. How much sweetness to be there? How much saltiness to be there? So your tongue will tell you whether this product is prepared under the specified limit or not. That is the common man's question.
Because I have seen many ready to eat foods, means even if you cut it and you cook
Yeah,
it,
you can approach to the FDA.
you cannot,
And FDA will take its own action to
you cannot
against
eat that food.
processor.
Means I have wasted so many packets.
I have answered.
Okay. Madam will give you the answer.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. I have the answer to this. Actually, we are talking about the levels of preservative that are used in food. Not only preservatives, but all additives. And this question is, you don't have any support to find out what should be the content, how much should be the content, right?
Yeah.
So the answer to this is Food Safety Standards Authority of India. Visit that website. On that, they have given food regulation. In food regulation, they have given the limit for all additives, including all preservatives, colors, other contaminants or other chemicals that are being used. So please visit that. It is very simple. Just visit Food Safety Standard, because I am working at the Food Safety Lab. So visit Food Safety Standards Authority of India. That website you can visit, and in that visit, that is search for food regulation. In food regulation, you will find one compendium for additives. You will find one compendium for contaminants, which is related to the pesticide residues, metal contaminants, and so on. So, and one compendium, which will be, of course, additives itself, that compendium is, supported by microbiological quality. So please visit that. You will find for each, it's a huge list. You will be surprised to see the list. It's a huge list, which includes all additives, all colorants which are used in the food, and all limits are given. So if you refer to that, and if you refer to the percentage composition, if it is given on the label, you immediately come to know whether it is exceeding. So thank you.
But the same website cannot be given on the market, like few people can understand this. So the normal consumer to visit that website, people should be
See,
aware of this.
there is FSSAI logo, which is compulsory on every product, right? So that FSSAI is a regulatory authority. So even if you put that FSSAI in your on the this thing your Google, you will get that search to that site.
My one suggestion for this question is that I am thinking of doing, I may not do the thing, but I have a suggestion that someone should do. Why don't you open one lab where the consumer can come and give
Sir,
the
that is there.
but the charges are too high, ma'am. I know everything. For a customer, which I buy a product of 50 rupees, the testing cost is 1,000 rupees. I cannot pay it. So why don't you open one lab where the free samples can be tested? So number of companies will be exposed.
That we have
You
said
can write with the government then.
Question for this question.
So today only I was referring to one of the videos by Honorable Piyush Goyal, and we all lab CEOs, we are having a one lab CEO forum, and he mentioned the one statement in that statement which everybody objected, that quality is cheap. Quality cannot be cheap.
No,
Quality is cheap only if it is cheap quality. Right? Right. So quality cannot be cheap, number one. Number two is try to understand, as you have cost of manufacturing, similarly the cost of analysis is very high, because even laboratories have to follow all quality guidelines of FSSAI. It is not only restricted to manufacturers, it is also restricted to labs. Rather, it is more. It's the most, let me tell you that all laboratories are most regulated bodies by government of India. Even the manufacturers are not regulated to that extent. So please bear in this mind. If you visit a lab, you will find how much many of my seniors and my colleagues have visited the laboratories, and then they understood that yes, the cost of operation of laboratory is very, very high. And so that is why you should respect that. And see, if you have a problem, if you get a problem, some medical problem in future, you are going to cost so many times higher than that. So you consider it as a health cost, not as an analysis cost. Right? So if you are concerned about the health, if you really feel that yes, it should be tested, then you should be able to spend few thousand rupees so that you are aware of the quality which you are consuming. Thank you. I have a question, please.
I have, madam, 1 second. I have an answer to sir. Sir, I have an answer to you. Sir, we in VIA, we are very sensible forum. We have understood and we have anticipated this problem in advance. During our last session with the FDA, this question was also raised, and they have taken a recognition of this issue, and we are waiting for their feedback. We'll definitely come back to you. Thank you very much.
You have one point.
Please.
Is why the food gets spoiled. The food gets spoiled primarily because of, from my limited knowledge, moisture and oxygen, the air. You can prevent the product from air by using a 3-layer or 4-layer film and sealing it well, etc. And as regards moisture, you see, in my plant, where we make premixes, long shelf life, right from beginning, Kapil knows and Dr. Sugandha also knows, we produce 12 months shelf life product without adding any preservative, because we remove the moisture by vacuum dehydration. Ours is the only plant, probably as far as I know, which has a vacuum dehydration unit. Normally, the food which is generally available, the moisture content is up to 1.9, 1.8%. And by vacuum dehydration, we take it down to 0.8, 0.9%. So without adding any preservative, we are able to get shelf life, long shelf life. This is particularly in US, the consumer prefers to have a product which has no preservative, no color. And you see, there are rising cases of cancer and so many diseases, although it has not been proven medically, but they attribute to preservative. So I think that if we can produce such product where we are looking for long shelf life, then if we subject it to vacuum dehydration, I think it can be one solution. I want your
Yeah. I told you about the microorganisms, but microorganisms and the moisture. I also told you the moisture.
Yeah.
So water is one of the culprits. Water and microorganisms are the culprits. Mainly the water is culprit.
Yeah.
When water is more in the food, then only the organism grows.
Right.
Because in your food, all nutrients are there. And to add the moisture, then microorganisms will have a very good environment to grow, and this microorganism we try to control it. The age-old technology of our preservation is we sun-dry all cereals and legumes, and we store for years, long years. That is means the principle is there that we try to reduce the moisture as low as possible, so that we can extend the shelf life. So, but every food cannot be having a moisture free. So that's why we need to have
good packaging, which is being
Packaging.
introduced into the market.
Yes.
Day by day. Wonderful packaging are being introduced, 3 layer, 4 layer, 6 layers. That enhances the shelf life without addition of preservatives.
that is another one is the breathing of the product. That is there, and that's why we go with the nitrogen flushing and everything, so that air is removed, so oxidation is reduced. That possibility is regulated, and then everything is. So what you said that oxygen and water, these are the culprits.
Could I ask a question, please?
Please.
I'm a grower and very young entrepreneur in the startup for food processed products and all. So now we are doing naturally grown. So I won't call it organic, but in a larger sense, we say organic food. So now that's all chemicals and pesticides free and all that. We get crops tested for pesticide and residues and all. But now if I go into value added products like ready to eat or ready to cook or something. So I don't want to add preservatives because I'm going for that is organic food. In that case, what should be the whatever you call additives or preservatives and all that to increase the shelf life? I know this about the packaging which you have, the metallic pouches and different things. So even if I do that, so but what would be that? Because like in my farm, I have lots of mangoes coming. So it's not so large, in bada scale, where like Suruchi I have a printer or something. And it's not very less also. So then I thought I'll start making pickles and sell it. But now there is whatever I'm adding in that is all this naturally grown products, the ingredients. But then it started getting spoiled fast because I was not adding anything, or I was to make a squash, something like that with the oranges. Then I searched which would be the preservative which is allowed in an organic product or chemicals and pesticides free product. I think most of us are trying to bring that healthy food. So in that case, I was searching the net to know can I add someone is citric acid you can add. So if I put citric acid with my squash, then it can go as my organic product. So when I was confused because I did my own search, but I couldn't find anything. So I started searching, which are the preservatives which are allowed in organic food, any kind of organic food. I didn't understand that because in most of the US and Europe and all those things, in India, I was not understanding. So we need to address that also because now most of us are going into these organic food. Even if it's bakery or anything else like that. This is one question where I want you all, dignitaries to address and bring back for us because all these, most of us, I think, know about these preservatives. But if that can be addressed, it would be very helpful for people like us. Or I would not venture into going into value-added products, because I'm thinking of going into something like biscuits and all that. We did try, but with my ragi biscuits or whatever I was using, in few days you had that, more because people I was asking questions were telling me about these preservatives. So this is my one question. Other than the grain storage and all that, it comes from farm. Hamara to pura chemicals, pesticides nahi hai, so most quintals of it gets spoiled. So we try to search where even if you're doing dried neem leaves or other things. Then someone said parrot cha goda taka, and then I was like, what is parrot in coming into my thing or not? What should I do? I put it, dried turmeric, halkand, and all that gloves and all that I put, but still they were, you know, कीड़े लग रहे थे उसको. So obviously this is all coming under the food preservation. So I think if that can be addressed in a small bit of.
नहीं, आपको तो moisture control ही करना पड़ेगा.
हाँ, वो एक है.
Only one.
So that is for the grains and pulses
Yeah.
or other. I'm not going to dehydrated food also or something. But the other value-added products, उसमें क्या preservatives होने चाहिए?
Vacuum dehydration is a solution. Because you cannot have organic food and then adding preservatives. So it is an opposite thing. So vacuum dehydration is a solution.
Madam, I'll take your question on behalf of Dr. Sir. Since you are doing a lot of liquid processing, I will.
Liquid dry also.
No, for pickles and all that.
Pickles है, some of them are pickles, but rest of them are mine are ready to eat products which I'm going into now.
Pickles में पहला. Since it is organic and all, things like citric acid and common salt, they will be good enough. Absolutely no problem. So you can manage with that. Now there has been a bigger challenge, like I was just going through the questions which I'm getting from the audience. There is somebody also who has addressed this issue of preservatives in solids. I was going to ask it. Now preservatives in solids, normally whenever you are either any of these anti-caking agents and all that, see majority of the that was Agro formation over there. It is along with anti-caking agents, so that until and unless the equipment market mixer, which of course people like Sidasab and all that are having. So until and unless you have a very effective mixer, it is almost like adding 1 drop of water in 1 ton of product. So 1 gram of matter going into 1 ton of product, until and unless your equipment is highly capable to disperse that, you are not going to get the effect. Okay. So it all depends. The product is effective, the chemicals are effective, they're all accepted, but it depends on the processor, how they approach the issue and how they, what is the plant capacity, what are the plant and machinery and all that. So this was a question also from one of the.
So even if I have a best machinery and all that, do we to say I'm organic food, so I can add these preservatives are allowed to be used in that.
No, you can again like reference list. Are those chemicals not adding? You have to be and probably he will answer this question better than me. And but yeah, please.
You will get only FSSAI approved certificate. The another certificate is for organic produce is by NPOP. So where it's it should be absent. All contaminants should be absent. So if they are absent, then only it is organic. But if it is within the limit, then it is as per FSSAI.
I thought because my all ingredients are organic now. I procured that. I'm going to process it. What should I add? That is my question.
Once you add it, it becomes under FSSAI, not under NPOP.
People are in the market with these organic products, all ready to eat and ready to cook. What I don't know how they're getting it, but what are the? That is the question I think which we all want.
See, let me tell you that people are declaring N number of things, N number of products without certification. And actually, the fault is us because we as consumers have been declared, right? And we just say organic likha hai to le lo, zyada paisa dekar bhi le lo. So we are at fault. NPOP is for organic certification and FSSAI is as per the requirements for as per food safety. So if you are adding something, you will come under FSSAI. If you are not adding something, then you can come under NPOP procedure.
As I mentioned was vacuum dehydration. The core issue there is if you try your product below equilibrium moisture content, First, you have to understand the product. You have to understand your formulation and determine the equilibrium master content. If you try your product,
For addition. So for trials, you can use our capacity.
yes. We'll continue with the questions next. We are very delighted to have Mr. Ajay Deshpande and Mr. Utkarsh Khopkarji, two very huge food technologists and professionals. Sir, थोड़ा सामने आ जाइए. Sir, please थोड़ा सामने आ जाइए. Welcome Mr. Ajay Deshpande साहब and Mr. Utkarsh Khopkar. सर सामने सर सामने उत्तर
नमस्कार.
डॉक्टर साहब आज मेरे को वहां बैठ के सुनना था. Thank you very much for all the the guidance you gave to us.
Okay, next one.
जी sir.
Can we mix 2 or 3 different preservatives in any given product?
I have heard of
If required.
Yes.
If required, it can be. That's why I told you that not a single principle is sufficiently preservable. You have to take the help of one or another.
Recently for some other product, I have manufactured face beast type of thing for somebody else. We have used a cocktail, so that has worked better. It can be. Yes.
Madam, one thing, I'm working with one of the company. So the company is getting the future fund. It's my. So they are making pickle. So in 2 or 3 batches, it got spoiled. Coughing is there and the so. So then we control the quality of the water. By controlling the quality of water, getting the good quality and demineralized water and everything, we could control the product. So we have to look towards the ingredients what we are using, whether it's a water or whether other ingredients, then we can make it. If it was a liquid product, it's a pickle. So we could control it by just controlling the quality of the water.
These are small inputs which are so important.
Madam, we'll take the questions during the interaction, and I think we have to move on. Okay. So thank you very much.
अभी हमारे बीच VIA के फाउंडर मेंबर आरबी गोयनका सर आए हैं और जो एनर्जी फोरम के प्रेसिडेंट भी हैं और दूसरा इनका 50 एकड़ का ऑर्गेनिक फार्म है एंड डेस्टिनेशन वेडिंग डेस्टिनेशन सेंटर है. तो उससे मुझे ये ज्यादा परिचित लगता है क्योंकि उन्होंने एक जमीन को बिल्कुल स्वर्ग जैसा बना दिया है. सो आई विल कॉल डॉक्टर गोयनका सर. प्लीज गोयनका सर.
धन्यवाद सचिव मुझे आज बहुत खुशी हो रही है क्योंकि VIA ने ये जो ऑर्गेनिक और एग्रीकल्चर
सब्जेक्ट्स के
ये अपने आप फिर से बंद हो गया।
अदरक को भी मिला करके उसका एक शरबत बनाते हैं। Then we are preserving मैंगो का पल्प बना करके उसको प्रिजर्व करते हैं पूरे साल तक। मैं ऑफ सीजन में भी लोगों को मैंगो लोग बोलते आपने ताजा आम कहाँ से लाया है ऑफ सीजन में। तो ये सब चीजें जब तक वैल्यू एड नहीं करेंगे, जैसे चना निकलता है या तुअर निकलता है तो आपने उसकी दालें बना करके बेचे या चने की दाल बना करके बेचे तो उसका दाम 3 से 4 गुना बढ़ जाता है, जबकि प्रोसेस में उतना खर्चा नहीं आता। इन सब चीजों के ऊपर भी हम आगे सेमिनार करेंगे जिसके अंदर में हाउ टू ऐड द वैल्यू। और हम लोग सब्सिडी पे जब तक डिपेंड रहेंगे वी कैन नॉट डेवलप। मेरा तो ये शुरू से सोचना है कि सब्सिडी से हमारा डेवलपमेंट नहीं होगा, मगर हमको जब तक हम लोग सेल्फ सफिशिएंट नहीं होंगे तब तक ये आगे में डेवलपमेंट हमारे लिए थोड़ा कठिन जाएगा। तो आज बड़ी खुशी है कि आप सभी इतने लोग इतनी संख्या में और सभी बुद्धिजीवी है। मैं देख रहा हूँ कि जो क्वेश्चंस आ रहे हैं ये एक लेमन नहीं कर सकता। आपने कहा मैं लेमन हूँ, मगर आप लेमन ऐसे क्वेश्चन नहीं कर सकते जो आपने किया है। तो यू आर नॉट लेमन बट यू आर एजुकेटेड और काफी बुद्धिजीवी, जिसके आपको ज्ञान है इन चीजों का। सो थैंक यू वेरी मच। आगे सेमिनार आगे बढ़ेगा और ये काफी इम्पोर्टेंट है। थैंक यू।
सर, अपना नेक्स्ट सेशन है कंट्रोल ऑफ पोस्ट हार्वेस्ट प्रोडक्ट्स। नाउ आई कॉल मिस्टर संजय सिन्हा to introduce Navis.
VIA Agro Food Processing and Rural Development Forum is fortunate to have an eminent person, Shri Shyam Ladda ji, a proud alumnus of Pantnagar Agriculture University, as the chief guest after a long time. It's indeed impressive to see his journey from Pantnagar Agriculture University to IIM Ahmedabad and his successful career with Amul. आपने अमूल का नाम सुना होगा. Shri Shyam Ladda's work at Vasundhara Dairy in Nagpur is particularly remarkable, taking charge as the Chief Executive Officer in 2002. He played a vital in reviving and expanding us. By introducing ice cream and pouch milk production, he transformed the unit's fortunes. Under his leadership, Vasundhara Nagpur witnessed significant growth with the turnover of 515 crore in the year 2022-23 compared to just rupees 5 crore in 2002-2003. Furthermore, Shri Shyam Ladda ji is focused on organizing farmers in Vidarbha district and integrating them into Amul's network. This initiative aims to provide farmers with fair value for their hard work by connecting them with Amul, a well-established brand in the dairy industries, by extending the relationship between farmers and organization. Aims to create a sustainable and manually beneficial ecosystem industries. Shri Shyam Ladda ji is also working towards controlling post-harvest losses. Post-harvest losses refer to the deterioration of agriculture produce after harvest, resulting in reduced quality and quantity. Implementing effective preservation and post, we will natural data from Professor like Dr. Bhotmange sir, but of course about your efforts to control post-harvest losses and how you transform an industry's 100-folds in 20 years. Would definitely like to hear from you about this. एक शेतकरी होने के नाते हमें यह भी जानना है क्या अमूल विदर्भ में लोकल पाई जाने वाली नस्लों के सुधार के लिए कुछ कर रही है. हम किसान इस विषय में आपसे कैसे जुड़े, यह भी हमारी एक मांग है. We are eager to learn this magic. Thank you.
Thank you, VIA Forum. I really feel honored that I'm here to be as a chief guest in food preservation. When this invitation came from Kapil, I told him I'm not a technical person. He said that you are managing 3 days here in Nagpur, and that why you to be the chief guest for this event. So only that is the qualification. Secondly, I also want to share my experience. See, in a seminar, you should not be, like talking to here with you. It's like going for a batting after Sachin Tendulkar's 200 double century. Dr. Bhutmaji, yeah. Dairy technologists, most of the biggest dairies in India, way back from 70s and onwards, they have been built by this man. And by virtue of his position in the Amul, he was made a chairman of Indian Institute of Packaging. And he was to be inaugurating that. And he begins, why pack when you are going to unpack? And those guys over there, you know what? And likewise, I want to say that why preserve when you are going to consume anyway? Noting that preservation is necessary, particularly for throughout availability of the food product, I just touch upon briskly whatever I thought I will share with you. We really take a pride, much bigger, not only in per capita consumption, but in even the highest production also. And that was when we were deficit, we were importing. How this transformation has come about, that is what I intend to share a bit about this. But for rest of the things, though we are largest, per capita consumption is still a matter of concern. Milk, incidentally, per capita consumption of 430 ml now is higher than the world's average. So again, a matter of pride for us. With this, when on the World Hunger Index, we are lacking, we are quite below. In such a scenario, this 1/3 of the food production is lost from the farm till it reaches to the consumer. It is a concern of world bodies. And the role of that, like this recognition that and what is produced when it is lost, that means we are losing water, land, energy, labor, and capital, apart from contributing to the greenhouse emissions. That's where the issue of food preservation and therefore the definition, which Dr. Bhutmaji has already talked about, it has onus upon itself to maintain quality, safety, nutritional standard. And by doing that, it enables us to store the products for a longer time, transport, and that reduces the wastage also and ensures stable food supply throughout the year. Food preservation, therefore, has a very, very important role, very big role to play. They have also, in order to understand, because when there is a problem, you do the analysis, you find out when there is a loss of 30%, where it is happening.
They categorize those losses as food loss and food waste. Food waste is mostly at the after retail at the individual consumer level, and food losses are from post harvest till it reaches to the retail, also the processing point. And what are the losses? There are the spoilages basically, and what are the reasons for that one? If those are already highlighted by Dr. Mangi, there is a physical, microbial, and chemical. Microbial that you were talking about, and because of the moisture, the microbes are even more active. But there are areas where really you cannot be doing anything. You have to retain the moisture. In fact, if you remove the moisture, the original consistency, original texture is no more available to you. So therefore, microbial losses, spoilage, minimization of that one is the biggest challenge. Physical and chemical again gets aggravated because of the microbial. Because if you have a damaged fruit, damaged vegetables, the losses because of the microbial goes up even more. And these are the food preservation things that we all know. Chemical processing, preservatives, which we are talking about, this salt, sugar, and all fermentation is yet one more area. Processing, pasteurizing, all that. I don't want to talk much on that. And all third one, that is irradiation and UV radiation, which Dr. Gurmange perhaps because it's topic was on the preservatives. No, we didn't talk, but that also is one area. Generally, food preservation will involve the combination of all these three. As I told you, this poses loss and wastage from food from farm to fork has been a key concern of the world bodies. And a lot of work is happening on this front. How do we? This is also United Nations Sustainable Development Growth Zero Hunger. What can be done to go for achieving this zero hunger? And obviously, nothing much to be thinking about it. How best you can minimize food losses and food wastage. And that's where I want to talk about that. One very simple solution is going for the cold chain, particularly for the perishables. And that is when we talk about the cold chain, it should not be happening at the city level, preferably at the village or at best at the taluka level, depending upon the products and all that. But cold chain is one which retains everything and suppresses all other things which spoils the food. And therefore, world bodies and in India, these are the advantages of this. Again, I don't want to highlight much on that one. And there are many processes available on that one, from simple cooling to the deep freezing. These are the areas. But advantages of this is that you get your food intact in a natural form. That's what the flow chain of the food in the cold chain is seen from farm to market through various routes. And that is being considered as one of the most effective ways to reduce food losses. And in line with that one, there are already big agencies at the national level. There is a National Center for Cold Chain Development. Then there is a Pradhan Mantri Kisan Sampada Yojana. Then a body like MOFPI. Then there is now what is called as a production linked incentive schemes, where for developing the cold chain, special incentive packages from the government of India are available. Point to be told is that cold chain can be a single biggest and most impactful intervention in food preservation. In fact, this cold chain requirement will be increasingly felt now, because one of the things that we were talking about post, after harvesting, the damages that happen, the losses that happen can also be reduced in secondary or tertiary processing. And nowadays they are talking about these keeping this bacterial load, and that is what happens when you pass it through the cold chain to the lowest minimum, is a prelude to for the further processing. That is called PRP, pre-operating procedures, that are required for any industry if it has to go for secondary or tertiary processing. Coming to the dairy, my own sector, as I told you, the single biggest intervention of this whole chain. What has happened that earlier, the milk used to come from farmers to the dairies directly. It used to take, so therefore the area of collecting the milk from the farmers used to be just 1 hour, 2 hours from the place of production. And therefore the interior farmers, where the milk used to be produced, was not having a market. And intervention that has been done is to have bulk coolers at the village level. All that is done is the milk from the village within 1 hour max is reaching to that village. So nearby villages are connected to the chilling center. You have enough quantity of milk now at one point, and that milk, like this bulk cooler as shown there, is brought through insulated SS tankers to the dairy for further processing. Now that has become, as I told you, a necessity, because if that separation, stopping of the microbial growth in the milk, as I told you, milk is one of the products where if you have to be consuming it, you cannot be removing the moisture. It's a very expensive proposition. And therefore, but with the moisture, bacteria really thrives on it. It's a very, like even bacteria also enjoy, growing on it. And therefore, this intervention from our side has helped us to collect the milk from the remote areas and bring it to the dairy. And once in the dairy, you have all the facilities. And for the processing is being done over there. As I told you, all the food preservation techniques are followed in the dairies, but we at Amul have taken some kind of a non-written statement. We will go for natural processes only and natural preservatives only. And I'm happy to tell you that none of the Amul products will have any artificial preservatives. There can be a coloring agents which are not natural. Even there also, wherever possible, like vanilla in the ice cream, we wanted to go natural. We went. We contacted the agencies down the line in the villages under cooperative which was collecting the vanilla extracts from vanilla plant. But we found that even they were also mixing with the synthetic vanilla and selling it to us. We had a royal variety named Royal Vanilla. We had to remove that royal because it was not natural. But except for the flavors, most of our products are having natural preservatives. Because of this simple, and like talking to this seminar about such intricate things like what Dr. Gutmandia said, ours is a very kind of a simple system, and this simple intervention of bulk cooling at the village level has transformed India as the highest milk producers in the world. Had this not been, I remember when my days 70s, when I was in Amul, 2 hours and 2.5 hours when the milk, raw milk used to come to the dairy, 10 to 15% of that milk would get curdled. Today, dairy has no curdled milk. Such is the impact. So why not adopt this simple thing? And now with the advancement in the air compressing and air cooling technologies, with the advancement of that now, not only there are efficient compressing systems available, they can run on the solar system also. Therefore, the sustainability part, like you talked somewhere, that there is an energy required. So why spend energy just to serve that? Better to let it go west. There are now good many technologies available. Good, but research has been done for each product, each vegetable, each fruit. What should be the humidity? What should be the temperature? What should be the number of air changes that should happen? Instead of storing in bulk whatever comes, and then the farmer or the one godown owner complains that the food has gone rotten. There are specifics that has to be followed, and the technologies now are available to control humidity, temperature, air changes, and the temperature. So these are the, I would advocate to the forum that this should be adopted wherever to the extent possible. Like Kapil wanted to share with me our experience. Well, coming to Nagpur was one of my dreams. In the sense that I was at the head office at Anand and served there for 15 years. Left and I came and started something of my own here. But because they say the first love is always, one never forgets. Amul was my first starting point, my career point. And so I used to dream that somehow the Amul will come here. There was no chance because that time Amul had no policy to come to other than the Gujarat states. They cannot be getting out. And okay, वो बोलते हैं कि जब याद करते हो तो कुदरत also helps you. And it so happened that this unit at MIDC Hingna, which was the quality walls unit, lying idle, they were not producing anything. I happened to be in touch with the that time SK Jaipurias. Okay, these are the guys. And he said that this unit you run, otherwise he said, I said, don't run it now. Then he said, in that case, why not Amul buys it? And since I was in touch with Amul, I told him this unit is available and let's start. Not having any labor entanglements with that unit, Amul decided to buy that unit. We started with just 5 crores and ice cream unit. That was it was a small plant of 2,000 liters per day. And then the rest is history. We added milk, we added curd, we added flavored milk, that is sterilized flavored milk, and expanded the ice cream further. And today, our ice cream plant produces 120,000 liters of ice cream per day. So that is how is that being possible? No extraordinary, of course. It's the organizational background, that organizational support that is available through Amul. What they have done is the model that is being sought to be replicated not only by other organizations in cooperative sector, of course, but other countries as well. It is very easy for me to say that I have a cold room at the village level and all that thing. No, unless there is an aggregation of the farmers, there is a cooperation of the farmers together, your produce cannot be going to the cold rooms. In case of Amul, they start with that one. And as I told you, one of the visions was that we should be able to have similar kind of a society as Amul has in Gujarat, in Maharashtra as well. And we got the opportunity and we started this milk collection center at Umarkhed. Today, 2,000 farmers, very small quantity here, are daily sending us 30,000 liters of milk from there. And we organized, we went around, I myself went around to many villages, and I tell you, there is such a reception of the farmers, Of course, we had a name, therefore, maybe, that because every time someone would come, they will talk to them, they will give the good prices to the produce and all, and they will come. When there's a shortage, they get a good price, and after when the surplus, they are no longer there. Amul had a name. And farmers were so much forthcoming, they on their own made their own what is called as self-help groups, they made the societies and registered, and within 3 months, we have now so many societies over there, and we are collecting the milk from there. And this has been since last 6 years now. There has been no break whatsoever, while others had come, given them the more rate than us, tried to take the sum of the producers from us to them, but then they realized that this is just lure, nothing more, and they are back to us. We need to be expanding more, but what happens that we have other cooperatives already working in Maharashtra. There is Bhandara district cooperative is there, and through Amul, that organization which would have been dead by now, they would have been closed. Thanks to Amul, who has been a consistent buyer from them at a price which is not being, dictated kind of thing. And I'm a big buyer, so therefore my price. No, what is the minimum prices that you are paying? What are your costs? What are your administrative costs? All those are added on that price. Amul's fundamental concept, मेहनत का मोबदला फार्मर्स को मिले और कंज्यूमर्स को वैल्यू फॉर मनी मिले, ये सिंपल पॉलिसी है। और उसी पॉलिसी के ऊपर में चलते चलते इस टाइप का ग्रोथ और कंसिस्टेंटली एक साल करो 2 साल करो नहीं, ये 60 years से कर रहे हैं और करते जाएंगे। एंड रिजल्ट्स आर रियली आउटस्टैंडिंग थैंक्स टू आवर legendary Dr. Kurian, who has been in the back of all this revolution that has happened in the country. And likewise, why not similar kind of a organizations and people coming together for other product categories? And already Amul now on the potato side, they are already working at Banaskantha, and they are doing the value addition, they are making chips and everything, all that value additions is happening. But potato farmers are coming together. Certain areas, some mother dairy is there, which is NDDB's body. They have also organized the farmers for the vegetables. But only 10%, what they say that for the cold chain, only 10% of the food products, these vegetables and fruits are passing through that one, as against 70 to 80% in the developed countries. So that also shows the kind of a scope that is available. And if there is a proper integration, linkages from the production to the consumer, many things can happen, and the losses, what we are seeing, would minimize. And in fact, in the next slide that is there, by 2030, that is Sustainable Development Goal, you have to reduce the losses by 50%. So that is the dictum of that is the basically policy and strategic decision that has been taken by the UN and has been adopted by India too. We have a long way to go. A little bit more about one, while I was going through the net and trying to understand, the one which is highlighted is genetic intervention on the food preservation. Like, हमको food preservation के लिए preservatives डालना ही नहीं है. That should be the starting objective. नहीं करना है. Of course, the food additive industries, they will not be happy. No, there will be so long as there is a bacteria, these chemicals will be required. So no way. But idea is that you have to minimize it, reduce it to the extent possible. In case of these products like banana, potato, tomato, genetic intervention has happened. Very certainly you don't know. Today you remember those days when the tomato इधर से वहां जाते थे तो damage हो जाते थे, texture खत्म हो जाता था. They have knocked out the PL gene in the tomato, and now we have farm tomatoes, and they stay there for quite a long time. Likewise, in potato, what I understand that this STP6A gene has been knocked out. When you store the potato in cold chain, even there the metabolic activities are happening. To stop that, to minimize that, and there is a sprouting therefore happening, and there is a sweetening happening in a certain spots to reduce, to stop that. That particular gene has been knocked out. We don't even know what this has happened, but this has been done. Likewise, irradiation has been approved now, and which is again a no chemical kind of thing. Its side effects at a certain level, there is nothing. In case of onion, FSSI has already approved. This is not been in the village level or at the taluka level, how we can subject these produce to these kind of techniques that are available will help us to be in line with the UN objectives and minimize the losses by 50% by 2030. So this is what I have. Thank you.
Most of the local milkmen are injecting oxytocin hormone to cow and buffalo nowadays to get immediate milk from the udder. There are two questions. Number one, how can you stop this before going to the customer's stomach? Number two, much has been talked on A2 milk. Please highlight. Thank you.
Regarding the oxytocin, to stop it, we should stop the production of oxytocin. One way. Of course, one thing is good that the oxytocin, once it passes through the process of pasteurization, get unstabilized. It doesn't remain active, it becomes inactive, and therefore, so as such, there is not much a problem. But the cows and the buffaloes, they are at a health hazard. So therefore, you've got to be stopping on that. On the A2 side, I tell you, this local, nowadays, everything local, थोड़ा out of way जाके statement हो जाएगा, and therefore it has to be good. Anything old, and therefore it has to be good. Anything coming traditionally, वो the best ही है. Present is so and future तो of course घंटा ढार है. But we are all thriving. How much population? What is the average age? And what is the, as someone told me that at 60 years our parents used to look so old. I'm 70 or 60 or 69. Do I? Idea is that let us accept the model. Coming to A2 Gaurani and that particular enzyme which creates and brings in, increases your data have been analyzed. They have studied big number of samples and nothing conclusive has come whether it aggravates or sets in your diabetes or any other cancer disease. No proof. The data, in fact, the impact of having a A1 milk and the percentage people getting diabetes, and then you give a similar sample of wheat flour to them, and then work the analysis, you will find that the both are same. So it is more, in my humble opinion, of hopes rather than a reality. If crossbreeding would not have happened, second point, of course, very important, is since there is a crossbreeding, already that particular enzyme which is there in the crossbreed milk, that particular enzyme is anyway suppressed. It is not available. So there is again nothing to be worried. And India, Holstein Friesian or original Red Dane cows, rearing them and getting, of course, they give a lot of yield, but that is very, very rare, very limited kind of thing. A1 and A2, had there not been any crossbreeding, today we would have been in a similar situation. Like you ask your father, what do you do to get a milk? Would stand in a queue in RA Dairy's booth. Today, there are 10 at least branded milk processors calling you to make you buy about the milk. That situation would not have been possible if we are not crossbred desi cow with these Holstein Friesian and Red Dane cows. So let's not go into that A2 and A1. Nothing is proven. वैसे तो फिर हर चीज खाने से कुछ न कुछ तो होने वाला है, तो फिर दवाइयां भी मत खाओ, उससे भी साइड इफेक्ट्स है. they say that anything natural is the best. अरे भाई poison भी तो natural है. Is it best? So you have to be, limitations have been done. FSSAI authorities have extensively studied what are the limits that will result in causing a health hazard. Below that limits have been specified. So बहुत ज़्यादा उसको मत पढ़िए है और आराम से. And last one, कैसे पता चलेगा? Sir, branded अच्छे reputed companies के products खरीदिए. बिल्कुल वहाँ पे, because FSSAI authorities and there are so many organizations that are monitoring us. We ourselves subject to those monitoring. ISO, we have to be. FSSAI has now specified every 6 months, all the ingredients, including water, has to be tested for all kinds of pesticides. It costs us a lot. And someone said quality is not, cheap nahi hota hai. It is the cheap quality that is possible. No, it does cost money. But because in our case, volumes are there, so therefore per liter it may not be much. But otherwise, go for a branded, packed products. Nothing happens to natural is what is required. All Tetra Pak products are natural. There is nothing, no preservatives added. Say 60% of our turnover is coming from the milk, which is natural, no additives, nothing. And last one, someone said that you take the bag of the milk, pouch milk, and boil it and all that thing. Don't do that. Pouch ka milk लाके 8-10 degree पे रहता है, keep it in the fridge and use it as a menu report by just cutting a little bit of it. Daily नागपुर में 5 लाख लीटर का दूध जाता है, 2-2.5 लाख लीटर का 3 लाख लीटर का पाउच मिल्क है, वो 3 लाख लीटर को गैस से बॉईल करते हैं 100 डिग्री तक, and then we bring it down to 60-65 and put it into the freeze. एक तरफ गैस, एक तरफ इलेक्ट्रिसिटी, डबल कॉस्ट. कुछ नहीं साहब, पाउच मिल्क को रखिए, थोड़ा सा उसको काटिए, जैसा जब चाय बनाना चाय में डाल दीजिए, घर में दूध पीना है तब बॉईल कर दीजिए, do that. Otherwise why boil? मेरा 48 hours है, but I have kept it for even 5 days, nothing happens to it.
Sir, I do have one question.
Yes, sir.
Which natural color
just a minute,
you put in your ice cream? Which
As I told you, natural color scheme has still not been adopted, as it is not available. Recently, just now, I got a message.
You have
in the butter.
But you have used it. That is a very good thing.
1960s, 65.
Anato is ample quantity available in India.
Yes, yes.
And so many manufacturers are extracting the color from it. But why don't you use the other color, like purple color from the beet, orange color from Anato, and yellow color from the curcumin of turmeric?
I think what you are saying has already started.
Yeah.
Now we have launched like James. They have launched almost poppies or something.
Yeah.
There, I got a message just yesterday only. They have now shifted from artificial colors to these natural.
Natural color are
Amul is about to go for the natural to the extent, because particularly the products that is Amul is making is going to the children. Yeah. And they are sensitive, much more sensitive than we as adults. Yeah. So
because every color has a natural alternative. If you try it, and the organization like Amul can do that. No one,
quantum that is required by us for any mistake.
Yeah,
every supplier will raise the hand.
Yeah, it's in thousands of tons. It's in thousands of.
Like honey, now we have started our own cooperative for honey as an additive to be added natural. Now Amul has gone for the honey cooperatives. In Valsad district, in Banas, and we are getting those honey through our system in our ice cream.
And what about the fruits in the ice cream?
Fruits in the ice cream, again, we are not yet gone on the fresh fruits. Processed fruits, yes. Yeah. But fresh fruits, no. Reason being, and still we are not able to find a solution. Fresh fruits when added to the ice cream gives the bacterial load, and which when subjected to the FSSAI authorities, they have specified for every bacterial count kitna hona hai. We fail in that part. Therefore, Amul said that till the technology develops, where the bacterial load of the fruits is to the standard, will not be able to use.
Have you tried custard apple pulp?
We are taking up freeze-dried frozen custard apple we have been doing, but again we found E. coli load even in that one. That is why we have delayed the launching of that one. Recently we have put there is a problem. Handling of the custard apple is required manual handle करना पड़ता है उसको हाथ से, and that adds to the E. coli. In fact, our one indicator in our dairy, and which our quality manager is also here. One thing, if E. coli is in the batch, we had it. Yeah. And when he talked about how this has been done, it's strictly adhering to the systems, adding to the quality parameters, no compromise whatsoever on that one, is the one reason that really keeps us going. And nothing happened because PRPs, whether at the dairy, now we are going back to suppliers level, the PRPs, now at the village level, all PRPs have been followed. What is done for the milk, similar PRPs will have to be done for other products. Only then, starting bacterial load, if you are able to bring it down, subsequent problem even at the processing level, like you will get some fruits and all that thing, it will have a huge bacterial load. Another intervention which we have done, someone in our dairy had come to give the seminar on this ISO, and he told that 75% damage to the food is because of the bacterial load. And another thing was that 75% is through the hands. In other words, hands are the contributor of the bacterial load. E. coli comes from there. We at the dairy regularly have meetings with the worker, have a demo how to wash the hands. In fact, we made this a program in our Rotary Club, clean hands and cut nails. We may have a clean hand, but the nails, there is some, nobody is bothered about that one. We tell them how to wash hands. You know, हम लोग hand wash करते कि साबुन को धोते.
Yes.
सोचना पड़ने की बात है. वो last चिपाटी रहती है after our, doing the job. That last चिपाटी से हम लोग धोते, उसको धोया नहीं, धोया खाने को बैठ गए. Same thing holds for the mother. और मैं typically example देता हूँ कि जब वो बच्चा हंसता है, smile very, smiling kid, बच्चा 6-8 महीने का, someone comes from this thing, अरे बहुत प्यारा बच्चा, उसके गाल खींचेंगे, ये करेंगे, और वो चले जाता है. बच्चे को 2-3 घंटे 6 घंटे के बाद में उसको डिसेंट्री हो जाती है. माँ क्या बोलती है? नजर नहीं लगी, उसने ई कोलाई डाल दिया उसके मुंह. If that fellow had a clean hands, वो नहीं होता. पर ये लॉजिक नहीं जाता है लोगों के दिमाग में, और we do everything with that kid. उसको इतना हाथ लगा के उसको बीमार करते हैं. हम लोग बैठे अपने ट्रेडिशन, वो काला टीका पूरे काले धागे लगाते हैं. We have to be scientific in our thinking, and scientific approach alone will take us towards the zero hunger, which is the US.
अब तो मान गए होंगे कि आपके जैसे गुरु नहीं मिलेंगे. आपके जैसे गुरु नहीं मिलेंगे, इस टाइप कैसे मिलेंगे? सर, थैंक यू वेरी मच टू एनलाइटन अस. एक आधा क्वेश्चन था ऑडियंस से जो मेरे को आया था, अपन बाद में रहेंगे. उनका क्वेश्चन था सर उनका क्वेश्चन था हाउ डू यू डिस्पोज मार्केट रिटर्न्स, उसको अपन आराम से लेंगे. नाउ कंटिन्यूइंग विद द सेमिनार. Today, we have with us two companies under the same management umbrella, Magnesia Chemicals and Arista Chemicals. The most important part of this company is the company promoters started this company at a very, young age of 50 plus. Mr. Sanjay Kulkarni, my batchmate from LIT. Let me have the privilege to introduce them. Magnesia Chemicals is located at Satara. They commenced commercial production of just 100 tons per month capacity plant of potassium permanganate on 15th September 2017. And the current monthly production is in the range of 500 tons, almost 5 times in 5 years. आज क्या बात है, हम 20 times in 5 years, 100 times and all that, सब आप लोग खाते पीते हो कि सिर्फ काम ही है? Introduced potassium permanganate tablets. Basically launched to promote its use as the product produces very good results. Potassium permanganate tablets find extensive use in agro processing, washing vegetables, fruit processing, warehouse and container fumigation, all that they are going to describe in detail. We welcome Mr. Sanjay Kulkarni, my batchmate, the managing director of Magnesia, to the forum, and they will continue with the presentation. उन्होंने मेरे को बोला कि सर हम 3 लोग मिलके presentation करेंगे. That's very good. Fine. Coming back to Arista Chemicals, again the associate group company having an international patent on sodium permanganate, we have heard a lot of times, a lot of things on potassium permanganate, but they have been manufacturing sodium permanganate. They established the plant at, again, Satara, from some 100 tons per month in 2020. So they are now 300 tons per month now, 3 times in 3 years. Sanjay? कहाँ तक लेके जाना है? Now, we welcome Dr. Satish Datta, the alumni of Pune University, Chemistry Department. After his master's, he did his PhD in NCL and postdoctoral in Iowa State University, USA. So hats off to you. When I was applying in Kemium, Thailand, our headquarters was in Dimoy, closer to your university, and I used to go there to recruit chemical engineering engineers for the US, plant. I had one company every time there. My salary as plant manager in Southeast Asia was 50% to the freshers we recruit for US. Back with solid 25 years of experience, Dr. Satish Datta is the managing director of Arista Chemicals. And background support में जो कभी दिखते नहीं है लेकिन काम करते रहते हैं. Mr. Matthews, again my close friend from Kerala. He's an alumni of Mumbai University, the founder associate of both Magnesia and Arista Chemicals. He has been guiding both companies in business development for new heights. Today we see among the team are Colin Marwan, जो आ नहीं पाए, and again one more my batchmate Mr. Mihin Suman, जो somehow आ नहीं पाए. Otherwise, now Sanju, floor is yours. आज पे बैठे हुए सभी अतिथि, मेरे फ्रेंड्स, नमस्ते, नमस्कार. एक्चुअली मुझे जब कपिल ने बोला कि मुझे यहाँ बैठना है, मतलब मुझे यहाँ बैठने की तो आदत नहीं, मैं सामने बैठता हूँ. तो उसने बोला कि बात करना है, बात तो मुझे आती नहीं, और फैक्ट्री खड़ा करने के लिए बोलो, मैं फैक्ट्री खड़ा कर दूंगा, बात तो मुझे आती नहीं. तो बोला कि अगर तेरे को कुछ तकलीफ है मेरे तरफ जस्ट देख और तेरे को इशारा कर. अबे सब कुछ प्रॉब्लम है बात करने की, मेरे तरफ इशारा कर. सर ठीक है, ये तो जो बट मेरे जो कलीग है डॉक्टर जगताप और मैथ्यूज, उन्होंने प्रेजेंटेशन तैयार किया है. मैं एक वर्ड ऐड करना चाहता हूँ इसमें, फूड प्रिजर्वेशन. Our company is food preservation and protection. Our company is mainly producing the products protection, food protection. Dr. Jagtap will tell about this. Please go.
Thank you very much, sir. आपका थोड़ा बोलना भी बहुत है हमारे लिए, तो थैंक यू सो मच. आइए.
Good afternoon, everybody. I think after the question, you sir the presentation हमको थोड़ा brief देना है, because we all three cannot talk the same thing. So जो बोलना है मेन, जो मार्केट में रहता है, वो ज्यादा बोलेगा तो ज्यादा बेटर है. हम तो बना के देने वाले हैं, लेकिन मार्केट में जाके कैसे उसका यूज होता है और कैसे उसको बेचना है, that skill is there. So इसलिए वो पार्ट हमने उनके ऊपर छोड़ा है. I'll be talking in general because after Dr. Bhotmange's presentation and thereafter Amul's, Shamji's presentation and discussion, I think बचा ही नहीं है कुछ. बात क्या करेंगे, क्योंकि ये फूड इंडस्ट्री, डेयरी इंडस्ट्री इतनी वास्ट है, हमारा नॉलेज रिस्ट्रिक्ट होता है कोई पर्टिकुलर वन सिंगल टॉपिक, जो अगेन एक पूरा थीसिस, पीएचडी, सब बन सकता है उसके ऊपर. तो हम इन जनरल बात करेंगे. टू स्टार्ट विथ चीफ गेस्ट श्याम लड्डा जी, माय कलीग्स संजय कुलकर्णी, honorable office bearers of VIA and Agro Food Processing Rural Development, It's my great pleasure and honor to be invited here to attend this seminar on one food current trends in food preservation. As rightly said, food preservation में potassium permanganate और sodium permanganate directly किधर भी नहीं. Its efficacy in protection because consumes proper protected food. Because we go to the market, we go to the grocery stores, and we are lifting the packets. जैसे हमने बीच में भी कहा कि हम उसके ऊपर क्या है ज्यादा देखते नहीं है, लेके आते हैं. Preservation कैसा है, क्या होता है उसमें. So we think it's जैसे branded item कोई दिया है तो वो believe करते हैं, हमारे मन में वो believe होता है कि yes, this is Amul products, कुछ नहीं होगा. वो that belief के ऊपर हम मार्केट से खरीद के लेके आते हैं. बट वो सर ने जो पूछा था कि ये ज्यादा है या कम है, ये हम कर नहीं पाते और कर भी नहीं पाएंगे. बिकॉज इतनी फैसिलिटी हमारे घर पे भी नहीं होती है. So that is the fact. ये जो भी ingredient इसमें ingredients है, मैन्युफैक्चरिंग ingredients है, प्रोसेसिंग होता है, environment impacts. What is the environmental impact on this? Is mostly the temperature and humidity, which sir ने भी बताया कि जो vacuum dehydration है, because moisture, temperature, and third one is packaging atmosphere. Under what atmosphere the foods or the products is packed, because these are the post-harvest physiology and chemical composition which affects during the storage. Basically, two factors affects the bad quality of food: microbes and oxidation, which Dr. Botmange also emphasized on these two factors. Microbes causes spoiling, undesirable bacteria, fungi, yeast that grows in our food products, and these can cause harm to humans if consumed. Oxidation, it's a term of chemical reaction, can impact food safety and flavor by causing an undesirable chemical change resulting in unsafe product. And we don't want any unsafe product for consumption, our own consumption. Hence, the preservatives and preservation technique prevents from spoiling and oxidizing quickly, allowing consumers to get safe and quality product. इसमें भी दो टाइप है जो सर ने बोला था, केमिकल प्रिजर्वेशन एंड फिजिकल प्रिजर्वेशन. आई थिंक फिजिकल प्रिजर्वेशन हम सब जानते हैं, क्योंकि एंशिएंट पुराने जमाने में फिजिकल प्रिजर्वेशन ही होता था. सॉल्टिंग, पिकलिंग, रोस्टिंग, ड्राई करके रखो, That is all physical preservation. Chemical preservation, already Dr. Bothman ने पूरी list बताई है कि what are the chemical preservatives. Ascorbic acid है, sorbents है, nitrates है, sulfites है, जो हम already consume कर रहे हैं with a determined concentration mentioned or the permitted levels. इसके बाद में हम आते हैं पैकेजिंग के ऊपर, बिकॉज ये ऐसा है कि फूड सप्लाई चेन में इसका इंपॉर्टेंस ज्यादा है. इसमें भी दो टाइप्स, एक एक्टिव पैकेजिंग, दूसरा स्मार्ट और इंटेलिजेंट पैकेजिंग. इंटेलिजेंट पैकेजिंग सिस्टम्स में इट मॉनिटर्स द कंडीशन ऑफ पैक्ड फूड्स और इट्स इन्वायरमेंट. लेकिन एक्टिव पैकेजिंग जो है, it aims at extending shelf life for improving safety while maintaining the quality. The market growth is expected for active packaging with leading shares of moisture absorber, oxygen absorbers, CO2 absorbers, ethylene absorbers, humidity absorbers, UV light absorbers. Because these are the things when you store, you have to increase the shelf life. Our product is when we talk, it will be for absorbers. Therefore, our focus is on increasing the shelf life of by using ethylene absorbers. The details which you will hear soon. So the products which we are manufacturing, both the permagnets, it has wide applications, basically in water treatment, wastewater treatment, aquaculture, poultry, industrial pharma sectors for as oxidizing agent. So many things because of this strong oxidizing power. Now you will say both the products having same applications, and still we are growing because potassium permanganate is a solid product which is a commodity product, and sodium permanganate is a specialized product which is made from the potassium permanganate as one of the raw material. This is only 40% solution concentration. Beyond that, this product is very hazardous. And the solubility of sodium permanganate is highly water soluble if you compare the solubility of the potassium permanganate. So the focus for water treatment, soil remediation or water treatment is shifting day by day slowly towards sodium permanganate. Now this water treatment, only Western countries, basically USA and Europe, they are using both the products for water treatment. In India, very few water treatment plants using permanganate because we are used to chlorine tablets or alum treatment. Yesterday I was talking to Nafade sir when we met yesterday evening. He is in water treatment and we talked about the same, how we can get this permanganate into water treatment because श्याम जी ने बताया कि वाटर का टेस्टिंग होना भी जरूरी है बिकॉज वहां से शुरुआत होती है, पेस्टिसाइड, इंसेक्टिसाइड, बैक्टीरिया सब कुछ आता है. So why not have water also tested, treated and then consumed? Because we are used to now this DM water, bottled water. We are also scared because so many bottling points are there, so many bottled water is there. वो सच में पानी डिस्टिल करके करते हैं, आरओ प्लांट से करते हैं, कैसे करते हैं, we don't know. हम खाली देखते हैं FSCCR है, ले लियो. So considering this, because we are not in preservation, mostly the topic covers the protection part during packaging or during refrigeration. So I'll ask Mr. Matthews to continue with the actual technical part of this permanganate role in preservation protection packaging. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you, Professor, for your valuable, interesting speech. Honorable members of the dais and my dear friends. First of all, I'd like to thank all of you for coming for this seminar on current trends of protection and preservation. Protection is an added word to this particular seminar because, like our friends said, this is also food preservation also involves protection of food. Now we have, like, I can focus on the, you can focus on the screen, like we have actually dealt on this topic, like Ladavi and even Dr. Padmangiri has said about food wastage. It's a, what I call, it's a necessary evil that all of us are facing in today's world. And according to FSSAI, 1/3 of the food is wasted in India before consumption. And according to United Nations Environment Program, a report in 2021, it is said that 50 kg of food per person is wasted yearly. So you can just imagine, with a population of around 800 billion people, out of this, how much food is wasted. It's a huge wastage. And in this, India ranks second in the world with 69 million tons of per year, around 90 million. And according to Indian Agricultural Research Institute, India's fruit and vegetable loss accounts to almost 30% due to supply chain deficiency and post-harvest. This has been discussed here sometime back. Like that, when we say post-harvest losses in India were estimated to Indian rupees. This is a 2014 study that is 1,25,000 crores in India. So now this might have already doubled, maybe after around 9 years. So you can imagine what's the kind of wastage that is happening. We are coming to this wastage, topic of wastage, because now we will go into the topic of, after some time, we go to the topic of food preservation and protection. So, but then I would like to go through the effects of this food wastage. It has an environmental impact, wastage of resources, economical losses, deprivation, like poor people, they don't get food entirely. Only the rich has ample amount of food. There is scarcity. Wastage leads to scarcity. Like every time we see, like now today, tomato is the most costliest among the vegetables. Why? Sometime back we used to get at 5 rupees or 10 rupees per kilo. Because we see in the supply chain, most of the tomatoes are wasted. And maybe only 30% of the tomatoes may be coming into the market. Rest 70% could be wasted. And this leads to scarcity, and then it leads to inflation. So this effect of wastage are all these ills which we face in today's world. Now for this, to make this food wastage, the most important thing is that we had education and awareness about resource management. There are many resources, basically, to bring food from farm to fork. Various resources are used. If it is properly analyzed and properly consumed, then assumed rather, then we can minimize this wastage. Second is enhanced preservation techniques. Like in today's world, technology is one of the major, what you call, contributor for this preservation techniques. Technology in the terms of new additives, chemicals, and even natural ways of protecting food. Third is pest control and biosecurity measures. This is a very important factor because when you talk about pests in big granaries, like you have rats, you have many other microbes, and as well as many other living beings which actually harm and which actually take away a major portion of the food which is being stored there. So for mitigating food waste, this is the most important factor, that you have to have a proper pest control and biosecurity measures. Then better post-harvest supply and supply chain and logistics. This we will come to that later, because one of our products is basically depending on the post-harvest preservation. Then we should have ample cold chain facilities, which has already been discussed. Like most of the topics are already been discussed. I'm just repeating that so that it's like a revision for us now. Then one of the most important factors is efficient disposal of unsold and unconsumed food. Now, unsold and unconsumed food is a waste. It is not being, one feels that what to do with that. But then now there are organizations, companies, which can process this unsold or unsold vegetables and all for generating methane or any, like for making it useful by generating fuel out of it. And this fuel is again used as a good resource. Now I'm coming to the introduction of our company, because ultimately we have come here to also promote our products as a food preservation and food protection product. We have two companies, Magnesia Chemicals and Arista Chemicals. As already said, we manufacture potassium permanganate and sodium permanganate here with a reasonably good annual capacity, which can be a future of this food protection and food preservation program. But before, I would like to just introduce a bit about the chemicals which we manufacture, because how it has been originated. Potassium permanganate actually was made by, in 1659, this product was formed, which it was by the mixture of manganese dioxide and potassium carbonate. This was the basic. Then later on in 1860, potassium permanganate was synthesized by a London chemist called Condy with the intention of preparing a disinfectant. Now the property of potassium permanganate is that it's a formalized KMnO4. In that oxygen content is high. The presence of oxygen actually mitigates the growth of microorganisms in certain areas, but in certain areas it promotes the growth of microorganisms. So, like that's the reason why oxidation happens. But this is a chemistry part of the subject. So finally, in 1915, before the First World War, one person called Garris started the commercial production of potassium permanganate, and from here on, the actual commercial potassium permanganate production started. Now, this is basically the molecular formula of both potassium and sodium, where you see both sides. It's just a substitute of potassium K and sodium Na. Potassium comes in solid form, whereas sodium permanganate comes in liquid form. Now, for the applications of potassium permanganate and sodium permanganate, this being an oxidizing agent has a very wide use and versatile use in most of the industries. Whatever you get to see over here is the industries where potassium permanganate is used. Water treatment, soil remediation, where you neutralize the toxic effects of the soil. Then air purification, then aquaculture, then poultry farms, in steel industry, in refineries. Like you have an array of industries mentioned over here, even in electronics, even in jet aircraft engines. Nuclear waste is basically neutralized with this potassium permanganate. Denim bleaching. So you have an array of industries over here where potassium permanganate and sodium permanganate both are used. Now I am coming to the topic that is food protection and preservation. Now, food protection basically it involves disinfection, detoxifying, and neutralizing. Now, when you come to disinfection, see, these are the areas where you need to disinfect as well as to neutralize, remove the toxicity of any product which you are going to consume. See, water is also food, and you don't know exactly what is present in water. You get clear water if it is treated with coagulant, anticoagulant, this alum and all. Then you get clear water, but you don't know exactly why is it really safe to drink. So there it could be having a lot of heavy metals which are very harmful, or even microorganisms. So all these can be treated. So heavy metals is a very important, it's a contaminant which is present in water. Similarly, E. coli, which has been discussed. Salmonella, it's also a type of bacteria which is very harmful. Then fungus. Then pesticides. When you spray pesticides on the vegetables and all those food products, these come laden to the market. You don't know exactly whether it is safe to drink or not, if it's safe to eat or not. Similarly, all the vegetables which are washed, these washing of vegetables are not so safe because you don't know where it is washed, but then they display in the market. It looks beautiful. It looks maybe consumable, but you can't say exactly whether it is consumable or not. So the effect of contaminants and microorganisms that heavy metals accumulate in body and disrupt the function of the vital organs, such as heart, brain, kidney, bone, liver. And basically this heavy metal, they displays the vital nutritional minerals entering the biological functions. So, and the other deleterious aspect of heavy metals is that it is also carcinogenic. So one has to remove all these contaminants before it is consumed. E. coli causes diarrhea, severe stomach cramps, and vomiting. Similarly, salmonella infection also causes a similar kind of afflictions. Fungal infections are basically very harmful, especially of lungs. When you consume some kind of a fungus-laden food, like it is similar to like bacterial pneumonia or tuberculosis. These are both very dangerous diseases out of bacteria. Then human exposure to chemical pesticides is linked with chronic illnesses such as cancer, heart, respiratory, and neurological diseases. As you all know, pesticides are toxic chemical items which are used to kill the germs. So similarly, these pesticides are also harmful for human beings. And whatever we get from the market could be laden with pesticides. We don't know. A normal washing may not help to remove, which are also once again a very harmful thing. This leads to weakening of immune systems, development of allergies, reproductive problems, and birth defects in small intellectual and physical deficiencies in small children. So we are living in a world of chemicals. A certain amount of chemicals are good till a limit. Above that, it is not good. But then we can't help it because in today's world, chemicals are a very important aspect of our living. So we have to be very judicious in our use of chemicals. Now, there's reasons for contamination. Fruits, vegetables are exposed to pests, fungus, bacteria, and disease-causing microbes and chemical pollutants, as I've been telling earlier. And they are also subject to pesticide treatment. The raw vegetables and street vended food are also the carriers of foodborne pathogens and E. coli, salmonella, which is again bad. Now, for the removal of contaminants, potassium permanganate solution is a very potent and an effective way of removing contaminants. Like it destroys the pathogenic disease-causing microorganisms. The chemical oxygen, which actually after when there is a reaction, the nascent oxygen which comes out of this potassium permanganate, that is something which is killing these pathogens and diseases. Microorganisms. Similarly, toxic pesticide residues are neutralized, rendering fruits and vegetables healthy to consume. Heavy metals and organic and inorganic contaminants are also degraded into harmless compounds with this potassium permanganate. Now, this is a product which we have introduced in the market, which we started during COVID, because it was a regular practice that any vegetable, fruits you buy from the market, during those times, you had to come, bring it home, wash it, disinfect it, and then you start using it. So we got a good opportunity to introduce this product at that point of time. We introduced it under the name of MacTab Plus, and beside that bottle, you get to see the tablets. They are 250 gram, 250 milligram tablets, which can be put in, dissolved in water. And this solution, once the solution is made, maybe around, you can take around 50 liters of for 250 grams. You can dip all the vegetables, all the fruits which you buy from the market, and make it totally pesticide free, salmonella and bacteria free. And you can start using it, because nowadays it's the season of it's a trend of eating salads. Most of the people buy vegetables from market, cut it, wash it and cut it, and then start eating raw. So before eating raw any of the vegetables or fruits, it is always better to clean those vegetables or disinfect those vegetables with potassium permanganate. इसे पानी में टैबलेट जो होता है वो पानी में डिसॉल्व होता है। ये टैबलेट जो आता है अभी 250 ग्राम्स का मिलीग्राम्स का टैबलेट है, उसका 50 लीटर्स पानी में डिसॉल्व करना होता है। उसका पिंक सॉल्यूशन आते हैं, पिंक में डिसॉल्व करके बाद में आपको रिंस करना है पानी में, बिकॉज दैट हैज टू, उसमें जो वॉशिंग के बाद उसमें जो बैक्टीरिया जो फंगस या जो भी सैल्मोनेला या जो भी वो खत्म हो जाता है, उसको बाद में आपको वापस रिंस करना पड़ता है नॉर्मल पानी में, ताकि उसके बाद आप कंज्यूम कर सकते हो।
कितना टाइम रखना पड़ता है?
आप 10 मिनट रख सकते हो, उससे ज्यादा भी रखने की जरूरत नहीं है।
लीटर वाटर तो डेली में नहीं आता है।
नहीं, डेली नहीं आता है। सो दिस टैबलेट्स आर क्लीव्ड एक्चुअली, उसे तोड़ के भी आप कंज्यूम कर सकते हैं। 10 लीटर्स में भी यूज कर सकते हैं। कॉन्सेंट्रेशन से इतना इफेक्ट नहीं आता है। You have to rinse it after you use it. Rinse it with the normal water. Now, that was part of the protection. The second part of the protection is fumigation. Of mixing potassium permanganate with formalin solution, where formalin gas is evolved. This formalin gas is very toxic for these microorganisms, for viruses, for anything which is also in the atmosphere. Formaldehyde constitutes hydrogen, oxygen, and carbon, and it's a potent pest control chemical. You can eliminate bacteria, salmonella, mycoplasma, E. coli, pseudomonas. These all are name of the bacteria. Plus, you can remove fungus like aspergillus, fumigatus, and viruses to a major extent. The use of fumigation. The fumigation is a general, this way of fumigation with mixture of formalin and potassium permanganate is a traditional way of fumigating or rather disinfecting some places. Now I will talk about this where it is used actually. In cold storage and for food products, where food products are stored, first it's fumigated so that it can be fumigated, because you can a big area like this, you need to make it totally disinfected so that you can store something in it. Similarly, in shipping containers where food is exported or any other chemical is also exported for that matter, anything is exported, they fumigate first these containers and then they start, because it is going to a different country. Suppose if it is going from India to US, so they need fumigated certificate of fumigation. Without that, they won't allow this container to reach there, because see, any of the microorganisms which are over here can be transported to that country and it can create havoc over there. Third is granaries. Like I said, all the food grains which has been stored. These are the areas where these are areas which necessarily there should be fumigation, and for which potassium permanganate is a major and a traditional way of disinfecting. And like warehouses also, where you store all the things to avoid any kind of load of virus, bacteria, fungus, and or any other pests. Fumigation is very important. Now, when it comes to the food, fumigation is majorly done in poultry farms. Because before you put the chicks, newborn chicks into the shed, you need to fumigate the entire space. Otherwise, what happens is that even if one chicken gets infected with any kind of a bacteria, they have to kill the entire lot, because one can spread to a great extent. And in fact, it happened many times. If they get to find a case where one is infected, the entire village had to kill the chicken. You might have heard about Nandurbar,
Yes.
where there were incidents where they had to kill the entire lot of chicken. Similarly, in fish farm also, potassium permanganate is used as a disinfectant for cleaning the water in which the fish is going to be cultured. Even in mushroom culture, potassium permanganate is used for fumigating the entire area before the mushroom. Though mushroom is a type of fungus, but still, to maintain the health of that farm, they have to fumigate that entire shed. Even in greenhouse, potassium permanganate is used for fumigating. So this is basically protecting with potassium permanganate. Now we are coming to preservations, because this is a topic which has been, like, there were many preservation techniques which has been said by our esteemed speakers. But then here I'm trying to narrow down this preservation to one particular product that we are manufacturing, that is ethylene scavenger. Scavenger is basically, it removes the ethylene. Now, this is a process of natural ripening of a banana. This is just an example of a fruit which I am showing. On the day one, it is very green. And by the 5th day, it becomes spotted yellow. Why is it? Because banana evolves like a lot of ethylene gas. And ethylene gas is basically, it's a hormone which aids ripening. Fruits and vegetables emit ethylene while ripening, and ethylene is an unsaturated organic gas with a chemical formula. And this exposure to ethylene sometimes affects the food quality. And this food quality is by change of color, change of taste, and with the advancement of microbial growth, which leads to faster decaying process of any fruit or any vegetable. And in this process of emission of ethylene, food loses freshness and post-harvest life when exposed to ethylene. So one has to, how to mitigate it now? Now, we have this product called permanganate impregnated activated alumina balls. These are basically ethylene scavengers in which permanganate is impregnated in the alumina balls which we manufacture. And these permanganates basically oxidizes ethylene into carbon dioxide and moisture. There are two types of the percentage of potassium permanganate in ethylene balls ranges from 2 to 12%. And these ethylene scavengers actually helps retaining freshness of the products for longer periods. Now, this is a basic particle reaction which happens, like permanganate for KMNO4 or sodium permanganate rather. It reacts with ethylene, and two products are produced. This carbon dioxide and water is produced. Now, this is the way this product is marketed. It comes in small sachets. There are various ways. It also comes in a cylindrical form where we can place it in the container, or because this product has a lot of application when it comes to preserving food, like fruits and vegetables. Now, this is a basic effect which shows how ethylene acts on food and how ethylene scavenger protects the food. Like banana, by the 10th day, it looks very dark, spotted, and unconsumable. Whereas on the 10th day with an ethylene scavenger, it prolongs the life. So this Similarly, in apples and many other fruits and vegetables. So the use of ethylene scavenger is basically, it is household as well as in larger quantities, it is used for domestic and export vegetable packing of fruits and vegetables. Then in cold storage it is used. Then it is also used while exporting food products like fruits and all. All these ethylene scavengers are kept in boxes before it is sold or exported. And even at household level, you can put this ethylene scavenger in in your fruit basket. It will delay the process of ripening, because fruits and vegetables always it emits this ethylene, and what smell you get out of this fruity smell is basically it's ethylene actually. So to control that, if you put a ethylene like that sachet of ethylene alumina ball, it starts absorbing that and it controls the ripening process. So now ethylene scavengers have been started to be used for bulk preservation also. Like there are many ethylene scavenging equipments which are coming up in the market. And these are also customized according to the requirement of the user. And where bulk storage facilities are well equipped with ethylene scavengers to maintain the freshness and throughout the cycle of post-harvest. So post-harvest, as we had discussed, post-harvest is one of the major process in the storage in the supply chain. Post-harvest is a very important factor where you need preservation, and in this ethylene scavengers have a very huge role to play in maintaining the freshness. So finally, post-harvest and post-harvest is the final stage of producing and preserving freshness and nutritive value of the produce. To be able to preserve the freshness till the time of consumption is the greatest challenge every stakeholder of the food supply chain faces. And advanced technology in field of storage and packing has enabled stakeholder holder to adopt suitable measures for post-harvest of food production. So this is what I wanted to tell about our products to all of you. And if you have any questions, you can certainly ask. We'll be ready to answer. Thank you very much.
Against hydrophone solution, which we use versus now for magnet solution, sodium permanganate.
Sodium permanganate.
How would you compare them? We are using
hydrophone for what?
For food wash, for even cleaning of the equipment.
Yeah, like for biosecurity actually. Food wash.
Yeah, for for the dairy industry with the entire pipeline.
Yeah.
And everything is they are kept deep into the hydrophone solution.
Right.
Now, can we be using for your?
Certainly you can be.
So I would like to know the terms.
Yeah, that I think I would like to give you that study. But in one way, if you say hydrophone, does it stain?
No,
it doesn't stain. And what is the concentration of hydrophone you are using?
You know that? Can you give me some hydrophone solution concentration? 50.
1.5 ppm. So I think perhaps that we can use also.
As far as the application part and its utilization, because this is the area where we want to come into the picture.
This is going into huge quantity in the dairy industry, so that's why I
don't know. No, because we had long back we had supplied this sodium permanganate solution to remove the odor. Basically, dairy industry there is a lot of odor. Yeah. So with that there was a lot of effect, good effect.
Sir, there is a question from one of the
audience.
Nowadays, a lot of people use air fresheners, air purifiers.
Yes. Yeah.
Basic objective of the air purifier is to kill some of these microbes and all that.
Yeah.
Can sodium permanganate or potassium permanganate, alumina balls or whatever.
Yeah. Yes.
Be part of the system either as a filter medium or something that have you done some work on that? And
see, air purifier basically the role of ethylene scavenger is basically to purify it is not only ethylene, but in air purifiers, these permanent impregnated balls can be used. It comes in a small, all air purifiers, they may be having a filter.
Yeah.
But nowadays, advanced air purifiers, they come with a, what you call, cassette,
Yes.
in which you can put activated carbon, you can put, it comes in a combination of this permanent impregnated balls as well as activated carbon to remove smell, to remove also toxic air like sulfides and all. If there is a what you call concentration of sulfides or any other phenolic this thing in air, contamination in air, that can be oxidized with this particular air purifier. So air purifier, in air purifiers already this thing is used. These alumina balls are used. They are impregnated with permanganate. So that can be used.
एक छोटा सा सवाल ये है, फार्मर के एंड पे फ्यूमिगेशन कैसे हो सकता है, या उसके लिए आप कोई ट्रेनिंग देंगे या फिर लाइक
फार्मर के एंड पे भी देखो, पोल्ट्री फार्म्स में क्या होता है कि पोल्ट्री फार्म्स में एक शेड हो जाता है, दे आर ऑलरेडी ट्रेन्ड एज सच। इसमें क्या है, गमले में आप पोटेशियम परमैंगनेट लेते हैं, फिर मेजर्ड क्वांटिटीज, वो जो क्या शेड का एरिया पहला गिन लेता है, 1000 क्यूबिक फीट के हिसाब से इतना कुछ यूज करना होता है आपको, 10 ग्राम्स प्लस 20 ग्राम्स ऑफ फॉर्मेलिन, ये गमले में रखते हैं। लेकिन इसमें क्या है कि वन हैज टू ऑलवेज टेक प्रिकॉशंस बिकॉज़ फॉर्मेलिन गैस एज सच इज वेरी टॉक्सिक, आदमी के लिए भी टॉक्सिक है और जंतुओं के लिए भी टॉक्सिक है। तो व्हाट हैपेंस इज दैट वंस you have to what they do in poultry farm is they cover the entire shed, एकदम एयरटाइट बना देते हैं, and shed का एरिया के हिसाब से they place the gamelas in which potassium permanganate is put and placed. After that only one person goes fully protected, सब में formalin डालते हैं और shed seal कर देते हैं for the entire 24 hours. So that is the way it is done. So farmers themselves do it actually. Major training की जरूरत नहीं है. Once they see, when they get to see a clip or a video on this, how it is used, then it can be done.
One question.
Yeah.
You said that you are washed with vegetables.
Yeah.
With the help of potassium permanganate.
Yes. Yeah.
Any method to check whether it is the pesticides or, for example, E. coli and Salmonella are completely clean from their particular food products? How will you check or any quality or any
it is tested. We had this test conducted by this EUB. Yeah, there we had given a sample of almost 10 kilos of vegetables because see, the pesticide content, these are all in minute like ppm levels.
So okay, but those are the pesticides, they are already in the plant material like the leafy vegetables.
Right.
How it is been washed with the potassium permanganate?
It is like it cleans the surface. Basically, the potassium permanganate basically an oxidizing agent.
Okay.
So with that oxidizing property of potassium permanganate, it cleans the surface. This pesticides are basically neutralized.
Okay.
So you have to.
So one question more.
Yeah.
5 grams of the samples, this potassium permanganate dissolved in the 100 ml of the water.
Yeah.
Some traces are rest in the food vegetables. They are harmful or not.
See, the thing is that is, I'll tell you, potassium permanganate, solubility of potassium permanganate, like our Dr. Jagdap said, it is only 6%.
Yeah. That's why
so,
I'm asking.
So that you have to, whatever washing you do of the vegetables, you have to rinse again with normal water.
How much water we have to use?
See,
now how much time we have to rinse?
See, this is when you prepare the solution. For example, 1 liter of water, we have said say 500 to 50 milligram tablet is 50 liter. But rightly questioned by madam, in household क्या करना है हमको? हमने अभी 250 मिलीग्राम का टैबलेट बनाया है. हमको अभी अगर हाउसहोल्ड या कंज्यूमर्स तक पहुंचना है तो हमको हाउसहोल्ड के लिए आना पड़ेगा. सिर्फ 5-10 मिलीग्राम का टैबलेट जैसे हम इसमें लेते हैं, हमारे ड्रग्स में लेते हैं, जब हम कुछ भी खाते हैं या बीपी का बोलिए 5 मिलीग्राम 10 मिलीग्राम, अगर 10 मिलीग्राम टैबलेट इज इन 1 liter of water, ये सोल्यूशन हो गया. इट्स अ वेरी फेंट पिंक कलर सोल्यूशन. You dip your all vegetables, fresh leafy vegetables or the fruits and vegetables separately for 10 to 15 minutes. You soak it.
Okay.
And once you soak it for 10 to 15 minutes, take it out and rinse with your fresh water.
For example, ethylene are useful for ripening of the fruit.
Yes.
They are absorb some of the quantity in the ppm level in the fruits.
Yes.
They cannot happen in the potassium permanganate.
I didn't get
Means potassium permanganate and absorb these particular fruits of.
No, see what is happening. See, the impregnated balls is alumina balls. They are the adsorbers. The permanganate is adsorbed on the surface of that balls. So what is happening is whatever retention is there. See, he said CO2 and water is released, but the retained product is manganese oxide. So the dark purple ball, once the ethylene is absorbed, the ball will convert from purple to brown.
Okay.
Purple to brown. So it means the life of that particular sachet or balls. From the physical appearance, we see the permanganate has taken care of by ethylene is taken care by the permanganate. Now the sachets, usually we have 250 gram, 500 gram packets in the market whenever it comes for the consumer end.
Okay.
We know that there is a silica gel packet which absorb करता है. हर एक कोई भी पैकेट में वो सिलिका जेल का इतना छोटा सा पाउच रहता है. So similarly for this sachet, it varies from 3 milligram to 5 milligram. 3 gram to 5 milligram ball sachet. अब उसके ऊपर permanganate जो absorption है ना, it is per sphere per ball, it may be 0.005 ppm.
Okay, I read the literature, and they are the regular use of the potassium permanganate. They burn the eyes, breathlessness, and n numbers of the side effects will be with the potassium permanganate. So can we regularly use for the processing or protection? They are very harmful or
See, when the product is used directly with the suppose हमारे दांत में दुखता है, पहले वो बोलते थे कि परमैंगनेट डालो पानी में, उसका गार्गलिंग करो एंड थ्रो आउट. जो बैक्टीरिया की वजह से जो पेन होता था वो निकल जाता है. बट अभी वो पानी में डालना कितना है? It all matters on the quantity which is to be used for the treatment or for the application. You cannot use the 1 liter पानी में 10 ग्राम डालो. It will be harmful for your body.
Okay.
So you have to. That's the reason why we are telling 1 liter 10 milligram. So we calculate the ppm level, which is maybe the madam will guide on this, which is under the limit for the human consumption, which is regulated.
One question is that, sir, here product where is available in Nagpur?
It is not available. It is not available in the Nagpur. No, there is one company. There is I think couple of companies in Delhi based.
That's why
they are manufacturing these balls, permanganate impregnated balls. They are putting into the sachets and they are distributing to the big storages, the multi storage or the cold storages. This is the application we want to have. If somebody is interested as having a cold storage, or they are storing the foods and fruits and food, whether we can have these impregnated ball sachet, we can have a joint working together. That is also our approach, because this is something new which is required in the future.
Thank you, sir.
So there is a scope for doing this in the household or in the cold chain facilities.
Sir, means food and safety, there are means very a lot of things doing for the checking the whether it is the food is good or not. One, पर कुछ चीजें ऐसी जो कि बहुत ज्यादा लोग चाइनीज बेचते हैं, तो उसमें सोडियम मोनोग्लूटामेट बेचते हैं. तो वो लोगों को चेक करने की कुछ व्यवस्था है आपके पास है क्या, या आप करते हैं क्या? जैसे फॉर एग्जांपल नागपुर इज हैविंग hundreds of the brand we brings is sold the Chinese, and they are सर्रास से सोडियम मोनोग्लूटामेट वापरते हैं, सोडियम मोनोग्लूटामेट. तो there are any
I'll ask madam to answer.
उसके लिए FDA अभी लास्ट मंथ आई थी हमारे यहाँ पे. उन्होंने कहा कि आप हमको एक रिटर्न कंप्लेन दे दो FDA ऑफिस में FSSI को, या ऑनलाइन भी उनकी वेबसाइट पे दे दो, तो वो लोग चेक करके और उस पर्टिकुलर ठेले का जिसका भी आपको करना है तो वो करके वो उसके लिए वो लेने को तैयार है।
उसको FSSAI का जो 500 रुपीज का सर्टिफिकेशन रहता है वो लेते हैं क्या? तो उसके लिए हम क्या कर सकते हैं?
हमें वेबसाइट पे जाके कंप्लेन करना है, या फिर उनका FDA का ऑफिस या प्रशासनिक इमारत नंबर 1 में है, वहाँ पे जाके 5th फ्लोर पर का ऑफिस है, वहाँ जाके आप कंप्लेन करो, वो लोग बराबर उसको ध्यान देते हैं।
क्योंकि I have checked the one sample, but I have checked the one sample by the HPTLC. So normal लिमिट जो रहता है पीपी उससे भी बहुत ज्यादा प्रॉपर होता है और वो डाइजेस्ट नहीं होता है। तो बहुत सारे ऐसे रूरल एरिया में चाइनीज में वो लोग सोडियम मोनोग्लूटामेट डालते हैं। So is really taking care of that. Who is the complaining? Who is complaining?
इसमें I think मैं इसमें थोड़ा ऐड करता हूँ, इस जो अवेयरनेस है ना, हम ही जाते हैं ठेले के ऊपर, लेकिन हम उसको पूछते नहीं कि तेरे पास में कुछ FSSAI का सर्टिफिकेट है या क्या है। हम वो चाइनीज बनाने के लिए बोलते हैं नूडल्स बनाओ या जो भी बनाओ, we take it and bite. The awareness has to come from us only.
Okay.
because हम जाके कहाँ टेस्ट नहीं करने वाले हैं, हमारे पास में उतनी फैसिलिटी नहीं है। अभी जैसे मैडम ने बोला कि कंप्लेंट करो, अभी किसका कंप्लेंट करने का, क्या नाम से करने का, उसके ऊपर ना बोर्ड है ना कुछ रहता है। तो अवेयरनेस के लिए हमको पहले जागरूक होना चाहिए और पूछना चाहिए कि भाई तेरे पास में कुछ सर्टिफिकेट है क्या FSSAI का या फूड का। लेकिन हम लोग हमारे से शुरुआत करेंगे तो शायद इसका सोल्यूशन थोड़ा जल्दी आ सकता है।
मेडिकल स्टोर में सारी चीजें मेडिकल स्टोर से मिलती है, तो we have to check the regularly the drug inspector in 15 days, 1 month, 6 months. But फूड इंडस्ट्री में बहुत सारे ऐसे स्टॉल है जो चेक ही नहीं होते, उसके लिए कुछ व्यवस्था है क्या और कुछ कर सकते हैं क्या, ये पूछ रहा हूँ। मेरा कंसर्न ये है।
वेबसाइट पे कंप्लेन डालनी होगी ताकि एक कोई रेगुलेटरी बने और इन चीजों पे ज्यादा ध्यान दिया जाए। जब तक हम अवेयर नहीं होंगे, हम कंप्लेन नहीं करेंगे, कोई ध्यान नहीं देता।
तो वही बोल रहा हूँ कि कंप्लेनेंट कौन होगा?
वेबसाइट पे कंप्लेंट डालते चाहिए, हर एक को डालना चाहिए। हम किसी भी ईटेबल के पास जाते हैं, हमें पूछना चाहिए कि आपके पास है क्या रजिस्ट्रेशन, नहीं है तो आप उनके पास जाना बंद कर दो। धीरे धीरे ये रेगुलेटरी आनी शुरू होगी। हम इस चीज का ध्यान नहीं देते, इसलिए वो लोग भी
प्लांट बना सकते हैं जो आप खुद से कर सकते हैं।
ऐसा कोई ऐसा
कंप्लेंट के बाद नहीं, ऐसे कोई स्क्वाड नहीं क्या जो आके रेगुलर चेक कर
स्क्वाड
हार्डली 20-23 लोग वहाँ पे काम कर रहे हैं जो कि संभाल रहे हैं, कॉस्मेटिक्स संभाल रहे हैं, एंड दे कांट डू ऑल दिस थिंग्स। तो हमें यार एक अलग अपन बना के यदि कुछ करना चाहे तो कर सकते हैं, बाकी गवर्नमेंट के पास उतनी फैसिलिटी अभी है।
I think NGOs like VIA or a few institutes, academic institutes, they should come forward. They should come forward, submit the project on these surveys to FSSAI. FSSAI funds such projects. If you are submitting it to the FSSAI that we want to launch we want to take up the project. Created, for example, Pani Puri Thelas. You can take the project on MSG, abundant use of MSG in Chinese, in all Thelas. So that such projects can be taken up as a major projects or minor projects, sorry.
ये ठेले वालों को जरूरी है, ये ठेला और ये चाय वाला उनको
लाइसेंसिंग
जरूरी है,
मैंडेटरी रेगुलेशन फॉलो करना, इट्स मैंडेटरी कि आप कोई भी पानी नहीं बेच।
किसने लगाया है उधर बाहर, लेबर जाएगा तो
One of the professors at one of the college, she had taken this survey for Pani Puri Thelas, which improved the quality of Pani Puris in that area to greatest.
और में डालते थे, अभी वो लोग क्या करते हैं, एक पानी की बोतल में उसका
सोल्यूशन बना के रखते हैं और वो ऐसा फिर आता है। हाँ, हमको लगता है कि क्या
पानी डल रहा लगता है,
पानी डाला कि मुँह का जूस डाला क्या में
होता है।
Hawkers Association should do something for this. There should be a regulatory body of both to the other body.
मैडम जो बोल रहे हैं कि
जो सबसे ज्यादा नेग्लेक्टेड है।
नहीं
जब अपन कलमना मार्केट बगैर से सब्जी खरीदने जाते हैं, वहाँ की जो कंडीशन होती है वो देख के ऐसा लगता है कि हम जो चीज खा रहे हैं वो कितनी हमारे लिए सेफ है या हार्मफुल है। इस चीज पे इंडिया में सच में ध्यान नहीं होता है। आपको याद है अभी 10-15 दिन पहले नासिक में पानी आया था, पूरे कोल्ड स्टोरेज के प्याज पानी के साथ बह रहे थे। यानी हमारे देश में फूड को रॉ मटेरियल को रखने के लिए भी कोल्ड स्टोरेज या स्टोरेज की अच्छी फैसिलिटी नहीं है। तो उसके लिए हम सबको मिलके क्या करना चाहिए वो हमने सोचना चाहिए, रादर देन कि ऐसा होता है सोच के। मुझे ऐसा लगता है कि इसके लिए और मीटिंग्स लेनी चाहिए और सबके मन से कुछ नया निकल के आना चाहिए कि हम इसको कैसे रेगुलेट करें। क्या हम कोल्ड स्टोरेज बनाए और मिनिमम रेट में लोगों को दें कि भाई वहां पे लाके अपनी फूड रखो, क्योंकि जब हम वहां से सब्जी लाते हैं और उसकी जो कंडीशन होती है, उसकी जो स्मेल होती है, क्योंकि हम कॉटन मार्केट से सब्जी लेने जा रहे हैं, तो रियली वो ऐसा लगता नहीं है कि हमें इसे खाना चाहिए। तो उस चीजों पे तो हमें जरूर ध्यान देना चाहिए। आगे अपन और भी मिलेंगे और इस पे चर्चा करेंगे। मुझे लगता है कि हम एंड पे आ रहे हैं अपने प्रोग्राम के। VIA एग्रो एंड फूड प्रोसेसिंग फोरम बहुत कोशिश कर रहा है कि फूड और ऑर्गेनिक और नेचुरल चीजों को किस तरह से अच्छी तरीके से लोगों तक पहुंचाए। उसके लिए मैं अपनी टीम का धन्यवाद देती हूँ। मैं अपनी टीम से आप सबको इंट्रोड्यूस कराती हूँ। हमारे सबसे डेडिकेटेड पर्सन श्री कपिल साहू सर, रात के 1:30 बजे मुझे डालते हैं इज इट ओके, ये सब ठीक है। मेरे का 1:30 बजे मेरी नींद हो गई तो मैं देखती हूँ मैं मुझे कैसे पता चले। डॉक्टर रीना साहब, संजय सिन्हा सर, लक्ष्मीकांत पढ़ोले जी,
पढ़ले सर,
अनिरुद्ध हंसिंकर जी,
आपको मैन ऑफ विदर्भ।
यस
सर
विदर्भ। और ये ऑर्गेनिक फार्मिंग के जो सर्टिफिकेशन देते हैं श्री लक्ष्मीकांत पढ़ोले जी आए हैं। आप इनसे मिलिएगा और आपकी जो क्वेरी है उनसे पूछिएगा।
अनफॉर्चुनेटली
मिस्टर किरण सर देख ही रहे कि मेरा नाम
May I introduce Chief Madam to come here and join us.
राजेश
आइए
राजेश के बिना हमारे काम होता ही नहीं है।
प्लीज आप इधर, अरे इधर। अनफॉर्चुनेटली टुडे आवर चेयरमैन मिस्टर ओम जादोदिया साहब, जिनको हम प्यार से बाबूजी बोलते हैं, वो आज नहीं है। He is not well today. And मिस्टर गोयनका साहब, जिनको आज से हम चाचू बोलना शुरू करेंगे, कुछ कारण बस वो उनको थोड़ा जल्दी निकलना पड़ा। इधर थैंक यू वेरी मच। आप लोगों की प्यार ऐसे रहे and this gives us a lot of strength to keep performing. एक छोटी सी बात बोलना चाहूंगा। लास्ट संडे हमने एक पार्टिसिपेशन की रिव्यू लिए थे करीबन 4 बजे पकौड़े के साथ मैडम के घर पे, तो कचौरी के साथ सॉरी। तो करीबन संडे 4 o'clock we had only 4 participants, 3 participants। तो सवाल मेरे तरफ आया कि क्या करना चाहिए। मैंने सिर्फ इतना ही बोला था, लेकिन मैडम 100 लोग तो आ जाएंगे। एंड वी आर वेरी हैप्पी दैट ऑल ऑफ यू केम एंड लास्ट मोमेंट रजिस्ट्रेशंस पिक्ड अप। काफी अच्छी तरह ये प्रोग्राम हुआ। विल कीप डूइंग सिमिलर प्रोग्राम्स इन फ्यूचर। थैंक यू वेरी मच। थैंक यू।
बट वो मैडम का क्वेश्चन अनआंसर्ड रह गया कि हम फूड ये जो इनका फूड का तो चिंता करते हैं, तो जैसे जो ठेलों पे आते हैं, जैसे कि उन्होंने कहा जामुन के ऊपर कुछ वैक्स कोटिंग होती है या बाकी के वेजिटेबल्स पे कुछ स्प्रे किया जाता है कि हाँ, तो सब पर क्या होता है कि अगर हम इस तरह की कंप्लेंट्स करने लगे तो उन लोगों को हमारी रोजी रोटी पे क्यों लात मारते?
नहीं FDA को जाके बात करके उनको लाइसेंस दिलवाते हैं। वो
जितने भी ठेले वाले हैं,
सबको लाइसेंस।
Now I request Kiran sir to give
Okay.
formal vote of thanks. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Sanchi madam. Vote of thanks जब कार्यक्रम आता है तो सबके चेहरे खुल जाते हैं।
It is basically
लेकिन ये ऐसा इंसान होता है सबको धन्यवाद देता है लेकिन इसको कोई धन्यवाद नहीं देता है।
सर घर पे आपको मिल जाती है।
मैं क्या बताऊँ आपको, मेरा दर्द क्या आम जनता के सामने नहीं बता पाऊंगा।
आप अपने आप को पहले दो।
ठीक है, मैं अपने आप को धन्यवाद देता हूँ। मैं किरण गोखले, खाने का समय हो गया है, उधर से सुगंध आ रहा है, उसके लिए मैं ये खाने की अरेंजमेंट देने वाला इंसान हमारे यहाँ बैठा हुआ है, सचिव मलिक का मैं धन्यवाद देता हूँ। उन्होंने अच्छी अरेंजमेंट की है खास। एंड बिफोर आई कंप्लीट, दो अनाउंसमेंट मैं करना चाहता हूँ। खत्म होने के तुरंत बाद खा के जाइए। नंबर 2, इमीडिएट इसके बाद बस की अरेंजमेंट की गई है। अमूल फैक्ट्री को हमारी विजिट है, सबको वहां जाने के लिए मैं आमंत्रित करता हूँ। Give a big hand to श्री श्याम लड्डा जी। कपिल सर ने एक बात कही है जो मेरे दिल में बसी है, ये विजिट में हमको आइसक्रीम खाने को मिलनी है।
तो डेजर्ट हटा नहीं दिया यार।
शायद मुझे फैक्ट्री देखने में ज्यादा इंटरेस्ट नहीं है। उम्मीद है आइसक्रीम आप भरपेट खिलाओगे।
यहाँ से हटा दिया दिखता है।
थैंक यू। मैं सभी फॉर्मल धन्यवाद तो करना चाहता हूँ। मेरा हिंदी खराब है, इंग्लिश तो मुझे आती नहीं। मैं शिफ्ट टू मराठी।
मराठी पण
चालेल का? तुमचं मराठी चांगलं नाही आपण
समजायचं आहे ना आपल्याला, समजायचं आहे ना.
मी सगळ्यांचे आभार मानतो. डॉक्टर सतीश जगताप, MD अरिस्टा केमिकल्स, श्री मैथ्यू जैकब, VP मैग्नेशिया केमिकल्स, श्री संजय कुलकर्णी, MD मैग्नेशिया केमिकल्स. थोड़ा सा फास्ट जा रहा हूँ, सॉरी, कोई इतराज तो नहीं?
भूख लगी, कोई बात नहीं।
मुझे भी भूख लगी है। श्री श्याम लड्डा जी, जिनके पहले मैं आभार मान चुका हूँ, फिर से आभार मानता हूँ. श्री गोविंदा सर, फाउंडर मेंबर ऑफ VIA. डॉक्टर अनवर दाऊद, न्यूली इलेक्टेड वाइस प्रेसिडेंट. डॉक्टर मधुकर भोतमांगे सर, थँक यू. खूप काही शिकलो आम्ही. Students of LIT who has come on my personal request, please introduce yourself. Many of the dignitaries are from LIT, so I have privilege to introduce you. श्री सागर सर, आपका पूरा नाम तो नहीं ले पाऊंगा मैं. फेरो अलाइज, आपने अच्छा स्टडी किया है, हमको इंस्पायर किया है कि एट सच ए यंग एज हम कुछ भी कर सकते हैं. थैंक यू. एंड श्री कमल नारायण सीठा, सरलाइट इंडस्ट्रीज, थैंक यू सर. आपने पहले ही जोरदार बैटिंग चालू कर दिया, तभी मेरे को लगा था कि प्रोग्राम अच्छा होने वाला है. हमारी VI की कंप्लीट टीम जो इंट्रोडक्शन हमने अभी करवाया, फिर भी मैं अपना कर्तव्य समझता हूँ. हमारा लीडर कैप्टन कपिल जो बोलता हूँ मैं उनको, लेकिन उनका असली सरनेम है कपिल साहू. मैं कभी कभी प्यार से उनको और कुछ बोलता हूँ, नहीं बोलता हूँ मैं अभी. VI का राज कपूर बोलता हूँ मैं. अभी उन्होंने बताया कि ये कार्यक्रम को हमको ऑडियंस मिलेगा कि नहीं मिलेगा, इस चिंता में हम लास्ट मीटिंग में थे। ओवरनाइट क्या जादू कर दिया मालूम नहीं। वी हैव 75 लिस्ट ऑफ पार्टिसिपेंट्स। क्या जादू करता है मालूम नहीं। राज कपूर हुआ, सचिन मलिक मैडम, मैं इनको नाम देता हूँ लेकिन वो गुस्सा हो जाएंगे, इसलिए नाम नहीं लेना होगा। थैंक यू। डॉक्टर रीना साहा, डॉक्टर सिरोतिया, डॉक्टर संजय सर, अनिरुद्ध सर, लक्ष्मीकांत पडोले, जो ऑर्गेनिक फार्मिंग एंड सर्टिफिकेशन के महापिता समझे जाते हैं। पडोले सर कहाँ पे हो, थोड़ा सा इंट्रोडक्शन दीजिए। जिनको जिनको ऑर्गेनिक फार्मिंग में इंटरेस्ट है, ऑर्गेनिक सर्टिफिकेशन लेना है, तो पडोले साहब से मिल लो। आपका फोन नंबर प्लीज बता दीजिए तो बेहतर होगा। अभी
9822695411 9822695411। पीजीएस इंडिया सर्टिफिकेट है भारत सरकार का फॉर डोमेस्टिक मार्केट।
थैंक यू। शिप्रा मैडम, प्लीज स्टैंड अप। यंग एंड डायनामिक पर्सन। कोई भी कार्यक्रम को कभी भी बुलाओ, लेडीज है करके नहीं नहीं बोलती, आती है। थैंक यू शिप्रा।
नहीं बोलते, किसने बोला?
आप पीछे से मत बोलिए, डायस पे आइए। VIA की टीम है राजेश, संजय, विठल एंड बज्जी मैडम। इनका मैं शुक्रगुजार हूँ, और सबसे बड़ा शुक्रगुजार तो इनका हूँ जो मेरे सामने बैठे हैं। इनके लिए एक बार ताली हो जाए। इतने शॉर्ट नोटिस में इतना बड़ा आ गया, मैं उनका शुक्रगुजार हूँ। और हमसे कुछ गलती हो गई, किसी का नाम लेते हुए मैं गलती हो गई होंगी तो मुझे माफ कर दो। और नॉन एंड अननोन लोगों ने जिन्होंने सहकार्य किया हमारे कार्यक्रम को, उनका मैं धन्यवाद और आभार व्यक्त करता हूँ। मैं किरण मुखले आपका क्या करता हूँ, शुक्रिया। थैंक यू।
Great photograph, and I request everybody to please come forward. Dignitaries जो सामने बैठे हैं प्लीज आ जाइए, and सब लोग आ जाइए। This will be a press photograph, it will go to the press. Okay, press had been very cooperative with VIA, so please आप लोग सब लोग सामने आ जाइए। Just a press photograph.
चलो ये चेर लो। हलामा తీసుకోమంటే
प्लीज सब लोग सामने आ जाइए। प्रेस फोटोग्राफ।
उनके लिए मैं आभार व्यक्त करता हूँ। मिस शर्मा एंड मिस प्रिया, प्लीज कम ऑन द स्टेज।
आइए सर।
भूख लगी है, जल्दी करो।